Chapter 1619. Su Yin and the others worked together to activate the ancient silver ship and began to cross the sea. Boom! The ship's speed increased greatly, causing the surface of the sea to tremble from the pressure. Following which, a large crack appeared on the surface of the sea. The group of cultivators who were rushing towards the treasures were dumbstruck. This was too ferocious. It was like an enormous silver bolt of lightning crossing the sea at an astonishing speed. The opening of the Golden Sea region Space of Fortune had already caused chaos in the Golden Sea region. Countless cultivators were rushing towards the destination, and there were also experts who wanted to jump into the Eye of the Sea. The experts reckoned that the Eye of the Sea contained great fortunes. Perhaps they could dig out a large number of young fish seedlings, or perhaps the inheritors of a world-shocking orthodoxy. After all, the Golden Sea region feared the birth of young fish seedlings. In short, the situation here was quite terrifying. However, the opening of the Eye of the Sea was extremely dangerous. There was an astonishing power of time and space within it that crushed a large number of cultivators. The stench of blood filled the air. We can only cross it with supreme treasures. Many people shouted anxiously. After waiting bitterly for more than a year, the Space of Fortune had finally opened. However, it was very difficult for ordinary treasures to cross into the Eye of the Sea. Only the inheritors of immortal orthodoxies had the qualifications to cross into the Eye of the Sea. At present, many experts had already entered. We've arrived. At this moment, a silver ship was sailing at full speed towards the Eye of the Sea. Yuan raised his hand and threw out a green stone bridge that pierced into the inner world of the Eye of the Sea. Li and the others crossed the bridge at top speed. Time waited for no one. The Space of Fortune had already opened, and they had to rush in and fight for it. It's a replica of the Heavenly Bridge. Didn't the Heavenly Bridge young master enter it long ago? Some people were astonished. Following which, they saw a group of people crossing the Eye of the Sea along the bridge. Their expressions were very strange. These were the experts of the Celestial Court. The Demon Extermination Alliance had been destroyed. This was a bloody fact. It was extremely cruel and bloody. Some news had also spread that the Flame Sparrows group had obtained great fortunes and might have captured a large number of young fish seedlings. Then in this year's time, the progress of this group of people was too frightening, possessing world-shocking strength. Any one of them able to hold their own. Coupled with the matter of the Kuan Peng mystique, the Celestial Court could be said to be the biggest winner in the Golden Waters. The immortal body fluid would also give the younger generation of this faction a great opportunity to rise. And now, they were all slaughtering their way over, charging into the Eye of the Sea. A few people trembled in fear. If this group of people truly joined hands, who could match them? The young Demon King was not enough to dominate the entire Golden Waters, right? Not necessarily. The reincarnation body, Tong Tian Young Master, Saintess, Mysterious Sky, Saint Sun, the strongest genius of the immortal clan, the eternal divine body of the Young family. They are all top-notch young paragons, and they have all entered the Eye of the Sea. Some people felt that once a large-scale battle broke out in the Eye of the Sea, it would be a contest between the young supreme martial artists. It was equivalent to the most terrifying battle among the top 100 martial artists. The Xian people's #1 supreme martial artist might even be in the Eye of the Sea. The storm was a little shocking as it continued to brew. When the time came, it would probably attract a large number of sky prides and overlords from the third stage of the Emperor Road to enter the sea region to seize the great opportunities. Boom! At this moment, the green stone bridge glowed and rippled with terrifying space-time energy, opening up a space-time path. Yuan also felt it was a pity that Daesung was in a deep slumber. Otherwise, Su Yin and Daesung would join hands and sweep through the golden waters. Su Yan's divine eyes were like lightning. He was extremely cautious along the way. This path was extremely special, and there was an astonishing domain structure. Even though it had been broken by the mysterious heaven's holy child, it still contained a type of destructive power. Suyan's expression was serious. The eternal heavenly sun's layout was already shocking enough. He wondered what was hidden in the eye of the sea. What's that? In the next moment, Suyan's eyes opened wide. Blazing flames surged and shot out brilliant divine splendor as he stared at the space-time before him. Gradually, the greenstone bridge stopped. The aura in front of him was vast and ancient. It was a long golden river that overflowed with resplendent light, and a long river that was as black as ink. The two long rivers contained the essence of creation, one yin and one yang, exceptionally astonishing. The yin-yang Milky Way was like the source of yin and yang, gushing with powerful vitality and releasing a terrifying aura that caused people's hearts to tremble. Yin-yang Milky Way. Yuan turned pale. This yin-yang Milky Way was too magnificent. It looked like a river, but in reality, it was so vast that one couldn't see its end. It was like a yin-yang Milky Way that flowed from prehistoric times. A grand aura rushed over and suppressed everyone's hearts. They couldn't help but feel shocked. I feel a kind of fluctuation from a life-forbidden zone. The flame sparrow's expression was serious. It seemed like the path ahead wasn't so easy to travel. Suyan was silent. He was using the heaven-opening writing brush in conjunction with the Eye of Heaven escape to observe the yin-yang Milky Way. As expected, the heaven-opening writing brush was worthy of being the celestial court's most powerful treasure. It was fully deserving of being called the mystic sect's most powerful weapon. Once activated, the ancient heaven-opening writing brush bestowed upon Suyan an extremely powerful vision. Outsiders might think it was the yin-yang Milky Way, but under the heaven-opening writing brush's evolution, the yin-yang Milky Way slowly transformed into a yin-yang fish. It was like a Taiji diagram, surrounded by yin and yang. Moreover, it was rotating and flowing, giving people a visual impact. It was too vast and enormous. They aren't one, Suyan said in secret. The yin-yang Milky Way was two special paths. One was resplendent and overbearing. The other was surging with darkness, covering the sky and the sun. The aura of death was dense. If others were to choose, they would definitely choose the Golden Milky Way. It looked more like a land of creation, and its layout was even somewhat similar to the Golden Ocean region. Why don't we split up and explore both paths? Yuan asked. Now that they were all true immortal realm experts, they could preserve their lives even if they encountered the suppression of the strongest battle constitution. Hearing this, Suyan said, "Let's go closer and take a look. I wonder if the Baokai is inside." Suyan approached the yin-yang Milky Way. At this moment, more people had barged in. A large number of them chose the Golden Milky Way and rushed in without much hesitation. When Suyan approached his destination, his expression changed slightly as he caught a familiar aura hidden in the void. A small amount of aura was definitely left behind by the Tai Baokai. Suyan stretched out his big hand and shook toward the familiar wave. Soon, the void cracked open, and a simple and honest creature with black and white fur jumped out from it. "Baokai!" Dilly shouted excitedly. He didn't expect the Tai Baokai to really be here. However, this wasn't its true body. It was just a phantom imprint left behind by the Tai Baokai. It said a sentence at an extremely fast speed and then disappeared. "Dark Milky Way." Suyan's expression was solemn. The phantom imprint left behind by the Baokai was to show them the way. As for the Golden Milky Way, the Baokai didn't mention it at all. It was obvious that the Dark Milky Way was hiding a shocking fortune. "Let's go." Suyan didn't hesitate and rushed into the Dark Milky Way. The young Devil King went to the Dark Milky Way. "Let's go too. We might be able to get some soup if we follow him." At this moment, some experts who were hesitating about which area to go made a decision and followed the young Devil King into the Dark Milky Way. One had to know that the young Devil King was also a grandmaster of the occult arts. In the past, he rebuilt the broken structure of the Jojo Heavenly Cauldron and killed a large number of top experts of the CM people. They believed that the path chosen by the young Devil King was definitely the location of the fortune. Quickly inform the young master that the young Devil King went to the Dark Milky Way. Also spread the news. I don't believe the reincarnation body and the others can sit still. There are also some people with ice-cold expressions. The Skirich young master was determined to kill the young Devil King. Similarly, the forces of hell wouldn't let Su Yin and the others get stronger and stronger. That would be difficult. Moreover, with the current young Devil King, who would treat him as a soft persimmon, he definitely had the strongest battle strength. The ancient yin-yang Milky Way was surging with a grand airflow. It was as if it was floating in the sea of stars, shocking everyone. When Su Yin really entered the river, the scene in front of him was magnified. He saw a huge, boundless black ocean. It was boundless, and he could not see the end. The contrast was too great. They had been in the golden Milky Way for more than a year, but now they had arrived at a pitch-black ocean. So much so that this ocean was very quiet. It looked like the ocean of death. The huge surface of the ocean didn't have any waves. Many cultivators were already exploring the surface of the ocean. Be careful. Su Yan's expression was solemn. The atmosphere here made him feel very uncomfortable. This wasn't a good place. It doesn't look like a place where treasures are hidden. Dali mumbled. This seawater was also quite peculiar. It didn't seem to contain any energy. Was the Baokai really here? More importantly, the energy here was dried up. There wasn't a trace of essence chi in the world. It was completely a land of death and destruction. There's nothing here. It's just the ocean of death. Let's go quickly. We might be able to obtain some fortunes in the golden Milky Way. Many people were disappointed. They felt there was nothing valuable here. Some people didn't believe in heresy and dived into the black ocean. They wanted to see if there were any fortunes below. However, as soon as this person dived in, his body struggled violently. Soon after, he let out a miserable cry and disappeared without a trace. The people nearby were frightened. What was going on? Su Yin also didn't see clearly what kind of creature was hiding in the black ocean. He frowned. There were creatures in the ocean? Yuan suddenly whispered. Su Yin, do you think they're extreme? Ain't fish below? Su Yin couldn't help but nod. Yuan's guess was quite possible. Just as he was about to investigate, Su Yan's hair stood on end. The calm ocean of death had gradually changed since the death of a cultivator. It possessed a terrifying demonic nature. It seemed to be able to devour all life in the universe. It caused the void of the entire sea to tremble and almost explode. What's this? Large groups of cultivators were terrified. Many of them felt that something was wrong and quickly fled. Not good. Su Yan's expression changed. The black ocean had changed. Huge waves surged, and each wave could shatter the heavens and shatter the stars in the sky. This was an especially shocking scene. The calm ocean of death had turned berserk, and boundless waves were surging. Soon, the aura emitted by the black ocean was boundlessly terrifying. The cultivators in the sky fell into the black ocean. Open for me, Su Yin roared. He brought out the Milky Way gourd and opened up a Milky Way sea of stars. It enveloped Yuan and the others, isolating them from the attacks of the huge waves. But even so, the Milky Way gourd was still trembling. From this, one could very well imagine how powerful the attacks were. However, there were only a limited number of people who could resist them. Large groups of cultivators fell into the black ocean, and soon, they howled in despair. They were no different from the first cultivator who died. What the hell is this place? Can a Baokai survive? Su Yin felt a headache because the black ocean had turned berserk once again. On the surface of the sea, tsunamis rumbled as huge waves churned. At the instant the waves rose and fell, the entire sky was blasted apart. The black ocean wanted to kill all the experts here. In fact, Su Yin could faintly hear low-sounding roars. There were demons and devils that were hibernating in the black ocean that were awakening. They were extremely powerful. Many experts were in despair. Their protective treasures were about to shatter. Su Yin lost his composure. If he didn't have the Milky Way gourd protecting him, he would surely be in mortal danger. But at the next moment, the berserk black ocean suddenly trembled violently. A stretch of the supreme, ancient, immortal realms suddenly appeared, exuding a divine aura that directly suppressed the sea. Chapter 16:20. The black ocean undulated violently as thunderous booms rang out. The sound of tsunamis was so loud that it was deafening. A shocking scene appeared. The entire supreme, ancient, immortal realms seemed to have descended, suppressing the black ocean. Thunderous roars could be faintly heard from the ocean, as though they came from the depths of hell, filled with terror. Suyan's expression changed. He stared at the descending sacred buildings. It was like the immortal realms were right in front of him. But to be more accurate, these sacred buildings had always existed. It was only because of the awakening of the Black Ocean that the immortal realms lit up. This was why they were discovered. Boom! No matter how turbulent the Black Ocean was, it had no way to shake off this immortal realms. What is that? Is that a complete place of good fortune left behind from the prehistoric era? At this moment, the hearts of those who were still alive were in turmoil. Was this the appearance of a place of good fortune? This place of treasures had already been opened for a very long time. Now that they saw this scene, the hearts of all the experts couldn't calm down. It was like a paradise in the immortal realms. Resplendent and dazzling light radiated from it, pressing down on the Black Ocean. At first glance, it was like a world of immortals, suppressing the chaotic Black Ocean. A pure and holy aura permeated the air. The experts didn't dare to act recklessly. There was a huge problem with the Black Ocean. There should be a demon sealed below. What kind of enemy was this? After living for so long, it still hadn't died yet? The cultivators gathered here didn't care how strong they were. They were all filled with trepidation towards the mysterious demon in the Black Ocean. Finally, there was a daring cultivator who rushed up. His speed was extremely fast, borrowing the power of a secret treasure to cross the Black Ocean, rushing towards the immortal island. On the way, this cultivator was also frightened half to death. The Black Ocean was still in a frenzy. There seemed to be a formless giant hand grabbing onto his flesh shell, wanting to pull him into the ocean. Suyan also moved, rapidly crossing the ocean. He didn't sense any danger. Suyan estimated that the Tai Baokai should be inside the immortal island. There's really something inside. Suyan's eyes sank. He could faintly sense that in the Black Ocean, there was a gigantic blood-colored eye that was staring at him. Its eyes were filled with ruthlessness, like a ferocious beast that had been starving for countless years. Are you treating me as a tonic? Suyan snorted coldly and raised his guard. He was getting closer and closer to the immortal island. The buildings in the sea were extremely magnificent, as if a small world was situated above the sea. They emitted a divine radiance that was exceptionally dazzling. Suyan dashed onto the island and immediately sensed a tremendous aura surging toward him. He was alarmed. The pressure couldn't be considered a threat to his life, but it wasn't weak either. Suyan also opened his heavenly eyes to observe the environment of the small world. The aura was too ancient and dignified. There was an aura of great destruction being emitted. Big Brother, this place is somewhat similar to the Four Sacred Sword domain or the Uncanny Craftsmanship sect. Fan Jian said in a low voice, I have a bold conjecture. Whether it is the Four Sacred Sword realm, the Uncanny Craftsmanship school, or this place, they were all especially terrifying in the prehistoric era. They flourished to the extreme and experienced the invasion of the Dark Calamity, yet their Tao legacies were not destroyed. What you said is about the same as what I guessed. Below this Black Sea, there might be powerful creatures suppressed. They are still alive, and from this, we can deduce that this place might be similar to the epic severing one sword. Suyan nodded. Ever since he experienced the changes of the eternal heavenly sun, Suyan increasingly felt that there was a great calamity in the prehistoric era. It could also be said that there was a great calamity in the prehistoric era. Billions of years ago, that was the era of chaos, which was the current Emperor Road. One had to admit that the heavenly emperor of the celestial court was too powerful. He reconstructed the time and space of the prehistoric era into the current Emperor Road, which was also the place where the younger generation rose to prominence. Some of the inheritances were also obtained by others. For example, The founder of the sword sect must have obtained some other inheritances that were also obtained by experts in the world. The mother-son scripture that Su Yin obtained was naturally one of the greatest gains. Now, billions of years had passed, but the dark calamity was still there. 1,000,000 years ago, the Xianhuang celestial domain suffered an unexpected calamity. Would the future immortal celestial domain be invaded by the dark calamity? Su Yin thought for a while and shook his head. He was thinking too much. This was not a problem that he should be concerned about. The energy here isn't too dense. It's almost completely dissipated. Su Yin stood in the middle of the immortal island and looked around. The layout of this place was extraordinary. A huge immortal fetus stone glowed like jade. Looking ahead, there was an immemorial mountain that towered into the starry sky. There were stars orbiting around the mountain. One could imagine just how majestic this huge mountain was. The vast power that Su Yin had sensed earlier had come from the peak of this huge mountain. There were already people who tried to climb the mountain. However, before they could even walk a short distance, they were shaken and fell down one after another. They were dizzy from the fall. Su Yin had already started climbing the mountain. The vast aura continued to attack him. Although it was strong, it could not cause any substantial damage to Su Yin. "Let's go quickly," Su Yin urged. He once again sensed a group of experts coming from the Black Sea. Their auras were astonishing. He had caught the auras of the reincarnated body and the Skirich young master. This was the enemy approaching. De Li and the others sprinted with all their strength. The pressure on the mysterious immemorial mountain also increased steadily as they climbed. "Charge!" In the end, they roared one after another. Their auras were fully protected. Each of them surged with yang energy, and the strength of their bodies was extraordinary. They ran madly along the way, causing a group of people who were climbing the mountain with difficulty to be envious. It could not be helped. Ordinary people could not bear the pressure of the sacred mountain. They could only look on helplessly as Su Yin and the others climbed the mountain and plucked the great fortunes at the peak. There were also people with vicious mouths. They cursed in their hearts and hoped that they would all die. When they were about to reach the peak, terrifying fluctuations came down from the sky. It was as if the great stars in the heavens were falling down one after another. The aura was especially terrifying. The terrifying power struck their bodies. Tai Gongji and the others were almost unable to bear it. Their flesh was lacerated. Although they were only superficial wounds, they looked extremely miserable and were about to be mangled. Dong! Su Yin's feet fiercely stomped on the ground, his entire body rising from the ground. He was like a celestial body in the universe, majestic and intimidating. He even smashed through the void, instantly rushing towards the mountain peak, stepping into a brand new sacred pure land. The scene that greeted him made Su Yin incomparably shocked. He really felt like he arrived at the immortal domain world. This place was too sacred and dignified, like a place of Tao attainment. It also possessed an unmatched aura that had existed since ancient times. "There's someone here." Su Yan's expression changed. A group of cultivators sat in front of him. It looked a bit unreal, as if a rain of ascension light was scattering down. However, Su Yin didn't see incorrectly. These were bodies of flesh and blood, not an illusory scene. A group of real creatures sat on the mountain peak. "I heard the sound of scriptures." The flame sparrow spoke. Wave after wave of scripture sound were transmitted by her ears, surging over. Soon after, it was ear-splitting, shaking her soul. It was as if a great yellow bell was ringing beside her ears. Scripture sounds? Su Yin was astonished. He didn't hear anything. Yi Yuan and the others looked at each other. They also didn't hear any scripture sounds. "I really want to see a phoenix?" The miser opened his mouth, somewhat stupefied. He said, "Could it be that you guys didn't see it? A very large phoenix is occupying the front." Dali scratched his head and said, "I seem to have heard the roars of gods and demons. I saw a powerful creature moving the 4 seas and heavens. This is good fortune. Our sect has a similar inheritance." Fan Jian said fiercely, "Let's go quickly. This should be an inheritance flame seed left behind by a prehistoric expert." As long as it's an expert suitable to cultivate his Tao, it will provide guidance. They quickly approached the front. The group of creatures sitting in front of them became more and more clear. They really were living cultivators. There were men and women, old and young. Each and every one of them was like a supreme war god. Even now, their terrifying auras were still leaking out. Su Yan was moved. There were almost 100 powerful cultivators, each of them emitting an especially astonishing aura. There was also a world-shaking battle intent blossoming from them. Moreover, some of them were holding weapons. Even now, they were still emitting a bloody aura. It was unknown just what kind of experts they had slaughtered. Su Yan's breathing was a bit heavy. These people were all extremely shocking. It was a bit difficult to approach them. Every one of them was surging with a great divine might that leaked out on their own. What were they doing? Su Yan was alarmed. Over 100 powerful cultivators were mixing their auras. The energy they formed pierced through the archaic Great Peak and continued to suppress the Black Sea. They are the protectors. Su Yan was moved. His expression was solemn and respectful. A group of powerful protectors had guarded this place for countless years. Their goal was to seal the Black Sea region. Over 100 protectors, perhaps they would never wake up. Their blood and chi were all dried up, and they had long become skin and bones. There was also a large group that had died a long time ago. They were silent, but they were still sitting cross-legged. Their figures were especially large and dazzling. Su Yan sighed. This was a group of heroes. They had protected their home for countless years, risking everything they had. Even when they died, they still didn't leave. Su Yan was surprised. The blazing sparrow appeared in front of a protector. Sure enough, she had obtained something. A lump of precious flame that looked quite special flowed out from the protector's body and pierced through the blazing sparrow's body. In an instant, the blazing sparrow's body blazed countless times. She had obtained a great opportunity. She had obtained the flame seed of a protector. For the blazing sparrow, this was equivalent to his second life. Su Yan was pleasantly surprised. It wasn't just the blazing sparrow. Li had also obtained the approval of a protector. This was a tall powerhouse that was filled with the aura of a demonic god. He was like an indomitable war god that supported the heavens and earth. Terrifying fist imprints and palm imprints appeared one after another between Li's eyebrows. Li let out a low roar. His blood and chi surged. He, who possessed boundless strength, cried out excitedly. He had obtained a shocking inheritance. Yuan has obtained a weapon. Fan Jian's eyes widened. He saw a protector bestow upon Yuan a simple and unadorned black bow. The moment Yuan grasped the bow, he felt as if he had been bestowed with an innate divine ability. The bow was also very terrifying. It caused his blood to rumble. I feel like this rooster has obtained a greater opportunity. Fan Jian was somewhat envious because there was a phoenix here. Its body had long since withered. This was an extinct supreme being that had passed on a divine ability of the true phoenix bloodline to it. Ha ha ha! A red-haired youth suddenly laughed wildly. It was unknown who this person was, but in short, it was not simple to come here in such a short period of time. He had also obtained the inheritance of a protector. A group of lucky fellows. Fan Jian scratched his head. He hadn't obtained anything, but the inheritance here was indeed not suitable for him. A bit greedy, Su Yan frowned. He discovered that this red-haired youth was staring at a purple drum hanging from the waist of the protector who had passed on the divine ability to him. He wanted to take away this powerful ancient treasure, but unfortunately, the protector's flesh shell glowed and blocked his rude actions. He's already a dead man. Is there a need to leave a treasure to accompany him in death? Even a heavenly merit was given to me. What's a treasure worth? The red-haired youth's temper was very bad. He directly cursed and felt indignant. Noisy, Su Yan's blood and chi surged like a million volcanoes erupting. For a moment, energy fluctuations filled the sky. These protectors were all worthy of respect. After obtaining their inheritance, they were still not satisfied and started cursing. This made Su Yan angry. His black hair danced wildly, and his eyes were even more frightening than a heavenly blade. Author's note: it's so hard to not have a draft. I woke up very early today because of something. Qing Tian is going out today to drive to Bengbu to pick up my grandmother from the hospital. The journey is a bit far, and I estimate that he'll reach home at night. Therefore, the chapter will be updated later, but it won't be delayed. Chapter 16:21. Who's there? The red-haired man was enraged. His hair danced in the wind, tearing the void apart. He was a third heaven, true immortal. The blood chi in his body was rich, and his fire attribute aura was exuberant. When he looked up at the man who scolded him, the red-haired man's face sank. He felt a chill in his heart, and his hair stood on end. Who was the young Devil King? He believed that everyone in the Emperor Road knew that the terrifying man standing in front of him was none other than Su Yin. You've received his inheritance, but instead of thanking him, you're here insulting him. Who do you think you are? Su Yan's voice was like thunder, surging with an abnormally terrifying aura that shook heaven and earth. Every word of his caused the red-haired man's blood chi to tremble, and his body felt like it was going to explode. Especially the aura that came rushing at him, suppressing him so much that he trembled. This made the red-haired man panic. This person was too powerful, even more terrifying than the legends. He immediately bowed his head and admitted defeat, saying a lot of good things. This demon is really powerful. That's a humanoid flying centipede, a powerful creature with a ferocious aura. It's like a chicken in front of the young Devil King. Serves him right. He's still not satisfied after receiving the inheritance. He's insulting us. If I were the young Devil King, I would have killed him with a single palm. Some of the onlookers nearby were speechless. The flying centipede did not have the face to stay here any longer. He ran away, afraid that Su Yin would attack him. Someone else has received the inheritance. More and more experts reached the summit, and all of them were extremely powerful. Most of them were the inheritances of great sections. There were also many failures. However, as more and more people received the inheritance, the commotion became bigger and bigger. This was a land of inheritance. As long as one met the requirements, they would be recognized. There were also those who tried to force their way in, but they all suffered great losses. A few of them almost died. The experts did not dare to act recklessly, and they obediently followed the rules. This bow is really powerful. There are even some inherited divine skills inside. Yuan was pleasantly surprised. He gradually got used to this great killing weapon. Although it was difficult to see its exact grade, this ancient treasure was like adding wings to a tiger for Yuan. Its attack power was extremely domineering. There were very few people who could obtain ancient treasures here, and most of them obtained some ancient techniques. Dali, Iron Rooster, and Flame Sparrow, the three of them had obtained divine abilities and secret arts, and even some special inheritances, but they had yet to awaken. Let's take a look at other places. Su Yin withdrew his gaze and said, "They won't be disturbed if they cultivate here. I've explored the nearby area. Bao Kai must have been here before. It shouldn't have left yet. If that's the case, the Xian people's number one supreme being is inside the golden heavenly river." Yuan's eyes flashed with coldness. This was Su Yan's future great enemy. The first supreme martial artist of the Xian people was quite mysterious. He hid his strength well, and no one knew whose descendant he was. They were not weak, but Yuan always felt that this group of people was much weaker than the first supreme being of the Xian people. "I think so," Su Yin nodded and said, "but with Bao-Cai's personality, would he give up the greatest creation? I think there are some big problems in the Golden Heavenly River, and it's not suitable for us to explore it now. If the Golden Heavenly River was really more important than this place, Bao Kai must have left a message for them, and it wouldn't be as simple as asking them to explore the dark Heavenly River." Su Yin and the others set off. The mountain peak was very big, and the sun, moon, and stars were as small as dust. One could imagine how amazing this place was. Along the way, they found some palaces, but unfortunately, they didn't find anything. There were already many experts who had reached the mountain peak. Many people were crazily traversing the mountain peak, wanted to find the place of creation first. Boom! From afar, Su Yin heard a deafening sound. The sound was rolling, and it shook the heavens and the earth. There were at least a dozen experts fighting. The energy waves were quite strong, and there were several experts at the Saint Child level fighting with their lives, causing a huge, chaotic battle. What's that? Yuan looked at the place where they were fighting. There was an ancient pool. The pool was naturally formed, and it was overflowing with auspicious clouds. It was dazzling, and it seemed like some divine, precious liquid was being nurtured. However, the precious liquid in the pool was already empty, and only a little golden liquid was left. The drops were sparkling and translucent, and it was filled with vigorous vitality. There was even a feeling of life and death, and it caused many experts to fight bloody battles to obtain the small amount of golden precious liquid. Could it be the legendary Nirvana pool? Fan Jian's heart trembled incomparably as he said in shock, "It should be. If the Nirvana pond wants to nurture the treasure liquid, it would require a long period of accumulation. However, there isn't much treasure liquid left in this pond. Could it be that someone beat us to it? Nirvana liquid." Su Yan's emotions were surging. He had heard of this kind of resource. It was born and nurtured, and it could allow one to undergo nirvana. Its effects were quite heaven-defying, and it was a top-notch resource that could allow one to be reborn. It was something that could only be chanced upon and not sought. The young family's eternal divine body is here. At this moment, the situation on the battlefield changed. A blue-haired woman rushed towards the Nirvana pool. Her aura was exceptionally shocking, and her peerlessly beautiful body emitted an eternal light. Her cold face was also filled with a dense majesty. A peerlessly beautiful woman with sky-blue hair, wearing a set of blue battle armor, like an eternal goddess who walked out of the blue sea, raised her jade-like hand to grab the precious liquid in the pool. Su Yin was not in the mood to fight over the pitiful amount of Nirvana liquid, because it was too little. There were only a dozen strands, and it was not even a drop. The Nirvana liquid was astonishing, but this pitiful amount of Nirvana liquid had no effect on him. Boom! In an instant, the dozen experts who were fighting bloody battles joined forces to attack the Yong family's eternal divine body. Yong Qiuling frowned, and her white hand rose into the air, releasing an eternal and indestructible aura. It carried an eternal and indestructible power as it struck towards the sky. Eternal divine body. The group of people turned pale and immediately retreated. Only a few experts charged forward, but they were all defeated. The eternal divine body was at the same level as the indestructible body. It was an extremely special kind of physique, and its power gave off a grand and ancient feeling. It was extremely shocking. Yong Qiuling shook her head slightly, and then she continued to explore this place, hoping to find more Nirvana liquid. Unfortunately, there was nothing nearby. She was even surprised that there were some broken bones, waste blood, and hair in the Nirvana pool. Who had come in long ago and was reborn here? Su Yin did not stay here for long, and quickly left to search for other places. The Tai Baokai had come long ago, and the pool of Nirvana liquid had been swallowed by it. What did this guy get? At the same time, the news of the Nirvana pool spread, causing a great commotion. This was the legendary precious liquid, and if it was cultivated by Tian Nan, any drop of it would be incredible. It's not just one Nirvana pool. One by one, the Nirvana pools were discovered, and there were already 6 of them. The commotion grew bigger and bigger, and the reincarnated bodies were all shocked. However, the 6 Nirvana pools had all been exhausted. Who had swallowed them all? It was reasonable to say that the Nirvana pools should have many sources of energy since the Golden Sea region had not opened for a long time. Su Yin was speechless. Was the Baokai knocked out by a meat bun? Where did it go? Su Yin tried to deduce the Baocai's whereabouts, but unfortunately, he couldn't find it. This meant that it had hidden itself very deeply. Had it encountered an enemy? Or was it secretly making a fortune? In short, the experts gathered on the mountain peak were in a frenzy. There was no need to explain the Nirvana liquid's effect on them, and everyone wanted to obtain it. However, 6 Nirvana pools had been emptied in succession, and there was nothing valuable left. Something's not right. On this day, Su Yan's expression changed. His eyes were bright as he looked through the vast territory and saw a distant world. A small hillside was glowing, and something underground was awakening. It tore apart the soil and emitted a shocking nirvana aura. Not good, let's go. Su Yin thought of something and instantly crossed over to the destination at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, the commotion caused by this place attracted many experts. The light of the nirvana liquid. Many people lost their composure as a large group of experts rushed over. A small hillside was about to collapse. Soil and rocks were rolling, and smoke and dust filled the sky. Thick nirvana liquid splendor gushed out from the cracked mud layer, causing everyone's eyes to turn red with envy. A large group of experts wanted to rush in and collect the nirvana liquid. Wave after wave of horrifying airflow from afar arrived here in an instant. The light of reincarnation burned in the sky. It was a terrifying figure, like a supreme god of war. His flesh was bathed in the light of reincarnation, powerful and terrifying. Reincarnation physique. Everyone's face turned green. The strongest person in Emperor Road had arrived. Who could stand against him? Almost everyone in the field was suppressed. Even the Supreme Maiden and Young Chioling, two extremely outstanding talents in the distant world, rushed over. There were also dozens of descendants of great sects who came with bloodshot eyes. The nirvana liquid gushed into the sky, and the scene was shocking. How much nirvana liquid was there? It was still unknown. In any case, it attracted a group of top experts. Open. The reincarnation physique was very domineering. He waved his fist and broke through the barrier. Extremely bright light leaked out, and it was so dazzling that it made people's eyes bleed. The nirvana liquid inside had penetrated the sky, forming a nirvana dragon that danced in the universe. Unbelievable. You can't find so much nirvana liquid in the world. The reincarnation physique was overjoyed. He raised his big hand and slammed it down. His appearance was extremely domineering. It seemed like he wanted to suppress everything and seal away the entire place, leaving no chance for others. Boom! In that instant, another frightening shadow appeared in the void. That person's black hair danced in the wind. His vitality was overwhelming, and he was like a supreme master of the world. He waved his huge fist and hit the reincarnation physique. How dare you stop me? The reincarnation physique was furious. Seeing the young Devil King's fist coming at him, his eyes widened in anger. His entire body's reincarnation energy was stirred up. He waved his big hand and attacked Su Yin from all directions. The light of reincarnation exploded, and the terrifying aura it emitted paralyzed many people on the ground. This was the reincarnation physique of the underworld. He attacked Su Yin in a wild and domineering manner. Chapter 16:22. The young Supreme being exploded in the sky, his murderous aura filling the sky. There was also a suffocating aura that spread out and engulfed the entire land, although it seemed to be silent. However, some of the cultivators who arrived at the Nirvana Pond were trembling in fear. Their bodies were in unbearable pain, as if they had been hit by an immortal Tao instrument or bombarded by a cosmic devil star. They were speechless. How strong were these two? The reincarnation body and the young Devil King were both outstanding talents of the Emperor Road. Both of them had the unparalleled strength to fight their way into the top 10 of the future Emperor ranking. Now, they were facing the same situation. The energy storm that leaked out from the light collided with each other, causing the world to lose its color and rumble. The moment the two outstanding talents attacked, it was as if two stars in the universe had crossed the sky and attacked each other. Boom! A deafening explosion shook the world. This was the sound of thunder from the 9 heavens, accompanied by a sea of energy ripples that swept across the world. Puffed. Some of the cultivators were sent flying like kites with broken strings. They spat out mouthfuls of blood and fell heavily to the ground. Their bodies were trembling, and it would be difficult for them to get up in a short period of time. How is this possible? They were terrified, mainly because they were too close. Otherwise, they would not be in such a sorry state. They were not weak, but facing the reincarnation body and the young devil king. They felt helpless and bitter. Hiss! The crowd sucked in a breath of cold air. The struggle between young supreme beings was extremely shocking. The young devil king and the strongest reincarnation body of the underworld clashed. It was equivalent to a decisive battle between the most terrifying sky prides in the Emperor Road battlefield. The energy ripples filled the sky and did not dissipate for a long time. Young devil king, give me your life. The reincarnation body screamed. His shell was terrifying, as if he was born with the 6 paths of reincarnation. His entire body shone brightly, and the sky was torn apart. Large black cracks appeared one after another. Under the destruction, the reincarnation body was much more terrifying, causing a golden storm. This person was too terrifying. He was a legendary figure, but he was different from Su Yin. Su Yin was Ingjia, who rose from the weak. The world knew how powerful Su Yin was, but they did not know his current strongest combat strength. They did not know what level he was at in the Emperor Road. Now, they could see everything at a glance. Kill! The roar was fierce and had a frightening penetrative power. It was even more ferocious than the roar of a true dragon. Su Yin let out a long roar. His disheveled hair danced in the wind as his battle aura surged. His blood was boiling as he yearned to fight with the strongest physique. Buzz! Su Yan's corporeal body was blazing. No one could tell what kind of physique he had. In short, his aura was ever-changing. In the end, his surging yang qi drowned the world. Boom! There was nothing much to say. Su Yin punched forward, hitting the reincarnation body. The Devil King is so cruel. Many girls' beautiful faces turned pale. One had to know that he was facing the legendary reincarnation physique, which was one of the most powerful physiques in the world. He was going to directly charge up and clash with the reincarnation physique. Boom! They directly attacked each other, causing the heaven and earth to boil. The experts gathered in all directions were terrified. The energy storms created by their battle caused their bodies to tremble. They were all shocked. The Devil King blocked it. He is not inferior to the strongest physique. The world was in an uproar. Many successors of the great sects lost their composure. As expected of the strongest successor of the celestial court, he was not at a disadvantage in the face of the reincarnation physique. This was the rise of a terrifying genius who was qualified to look down on the Emperor Road in the future. Whoosh! Suddenly, young Xiaoling rushed towards a small slope that had collapsed. Her beautiful face flashed with excitement as her beautiful eyes stared unblinkingly at the scene below the small slope that had exploded. The energy accumulated in this nirvana pond was ridiculous. The nirvana treasured liquid, and it was rolling like an ocean, forming a nirvana dragon that jumped in the nirvana pond. This pond of nirvana treasured liquid was rare. Begging, it would be of great help to anyone. In the next moment, young Xiaoling's beautiful figure stopped in the void. Her blue hair danced in the wind. Her beauty was breathtaking. She was like an eternal goddess, pure and noble to the extreme. She frowned slightly and stared at Su Yin, who appeared here, and said, "You want to block my way?" The onlookers nearby were shocked. What was a young demon king doing? He had fought with the reincarnation physique several times, and now he was directly facing the eternal divine physique. One had to know that this was not a weakling. Many people hoped that they would fight so that they could take advantage of the situation. Otherwise, with the current situation, it was impossible for those who were not strong enough to participate. The nirvana treasured liquid was too important. Anyone who obtained it would have a substantial change, and they would be qualified to compete for a stronger position on the Emperor board in the future. Who would not be jealous of a pond of nirvana treasured liquid? Sorry. Su Yin stood calmly, and a powerful aura flashed in his deep eyes. He said, "There's an old friend of mine in the nirvana pond. If you all rush in to intercept the nirvana treasured liquid, it will affect his breakthrough." What? There's an expert in seclusion in there? Look, there's really a living being cultivating, Many people noticed that within the dazzling brilliance of the pool of rebirth, there was a blurred beast figure cultivating within it. Its mouth and nose emanated the light of rebirth, and it even swallowed the dragons of rebirth one after another before penetrating into its fleshly shell. It had even reached a critical moment in its cultivation, and the sleeping creature was awakening. Although its aura was a little slow, it was very close to coming out of seclusion. This was a pond of nirvana treasured liquid. Who would not want to obtain and occupy it? Who would have thought that someone would beat them to it? With the rarity of this thing, there might be a top existence in the Emperor Road in the future. Young Xiaoling frowned and said coldly, "The nirvana treasured liquid is an item without an owner. Moreover, there is so much nirvana treasured liquid that it can't use up." Before young Xiaoling could finish, Su Yin waved his hand and said, "There is so much nirvana treasured liquid. My friend can't use it all. When he comes out of seclusion, I will not fight for the nirvana treasured liquid." "Brother Su, don't you think you're being a little overbearing?" At this time, a figure full of vitality stood out. He was very majestic, like an immortal sun burning brightly. He was bathed in golden light, like a terrifying god of war descending to the mortal realm, giving off a strong pressure to the experts present. Jin Tiangang. Someone was shocked. This was the strongest expert of the Undying clan, and his vitality was terrifying and full of majesty. He said coldly, "Everyone wants the nirvana treasured liquid. How much nirvana treasured liquid can we wait for your friend to come out of seclusion?" He was ready to make a move. No one would give up such a great opportunity. Moreover, the nirvana treasured liquid was very important to cultivators with strong physical bodies. Jin Tiangang, the reincarnation body, and Yong Qiuling all wanted the nirvana treasured liquid to evolve into a true immortal body. The immortal Tao realm was one small realm after another, and it was not easy to break through. If they had the help of the nirvana treasured liquid, they could accumulate a shocking foundation in a short time. On Su Yan's side, there were only 3 great experts, but none of them were weak. The world's #1 sword stood here, and there was even a martial godlike man holding a bow. This group was very strong. If they really fought, it would be disadvantageous for everyone. Of course, the most terrifying one was still the young Devil King, who intimidated them greatly. Thus, the experts here did not want to be the first to make a move. The great opportunity was right in front of them, and fighting the young Devil King now was not a good thing. This Su's friend is about to come out of seclusion. Su Yan's black hair scattered, and his aura began to flourish. This one does not want to be your enemy. In short, when he comes out of seclusion, I will turn around and leave. Ha! Young Devil King, you have a good plan. Everyone, don't be tricked by him. Someone secretly said, and his voice was very cold. Everyone knows that the young Devil King is a master of the occult arts. If he was the first to discover the Nirvana Pond, wouldn't he choose to seal it? You all believe such laughable words? Young Xiaoling's group's expression turned cold. The words were not wrong. Moreover, the creature inside had been asleep for a very long time. Where did this scoundrel come from? Su Yan's eyes blossomed with killing intent. He coldly shouted, "You can even say such stupid words. Why would I, Su Yan, use such an excuse to trick you all?" Ha! Young Devil King, don't be too overbearing. You want to take the Nirvana elixir for yourself? That is simply impossible. The person who spoke in the dark continued. His voice was very cold. Even if the expert inside is really your old friend, what qualifications do you have to monopolize the fortune inside the Nirvana Pond? Don't make us wait here. Young Devil King, don't think too highly of yourself. Don't think that everyone will give you some leeway. I have an idea. Wouldn't it be better if we all attack together and directly crush the young Devil King to death? That's exactly what I was thinking. The reincarnated body spoke. His aura became increasingly unstable. Of course, he was not stupid enough to fight to the death with the young Devil King. Seizing the Nirvana elixir was the most important thing. Cowardly scoundrel, who do you think you are to bewitch people from the dark? Su Yin coldly shouted. His eyes were like golden lanterns as he stared at the crowd. He said, "Come out if you have the guts." I want to see if you dare to say it in front of me again. Young Devil King, who do you think you are? The expert who spoke in the dark once again spoke. He wanted to incite the other experts to attack together. However, before he could finish his words, Su Yan's aura suddenly became ferocious. His primordial spirit blossomed with an extremely powerful insight. In an instant, he broke through the void and attacked a red-haired man in the crowd. What? The red-haired man's hair stood on end. He was the flying centipede. However, he did not expect Su Yan to be able to lock onto his position and directly attack him. So it's you. Su Yan was furious. He raised his big hand and emitted an extremely terrifying aura. It suppressed the flying centipede. Young Devil King, you don't need to kill here, right? The reincarnated body's eyes turned cold. A ray of reincarnation light shot out from his chest and rushed toward the flying centipede. Come here and die. Su Yan's reply was simple and domineering. Although there was the power of reincarnation blocking, he released the power of 8 escape. Terrifying fluctuations filled the entire space. Even the power of reincarnation could not seal off Su Yan's killing intent. Brother, save me. The flying centipede was terrified. Su Yan's aura had already rushed over. It was like an immortal Kuan Peng had crossed through space and time. He was terrified. His body trembled violently and collapsed. The flying centipede felt a chill from head to toe. How powerful was this person? He exploded from so far away and could severely injure him in one blow. He turned around and ran. His blood-stained body turned into a ferocious red centipede. He tore through the void and wanted to escape far away. However, Su Yan's mastery of the world's layout was shocking. The flying centipede tore through the void and instantly trembled. He rushed over with the power of ghost escape and launched an attack with the power of wind escape. The entire void passage collapsed completely. Oh no, the flying centipede was in despair. There was nowhere to run. The entire world was filled with Su Yan's killing aura. In an instant, the heavenly wind whistled and came crashing down with a rumble. Under the horrifying gazes of the surrounding people, the red centipede trembled and its suppressed flesh shell exploded. It could not withstand Su Yan's killing aura at all. It died. Its flesh shell exploded. Even its primordial spirit could not escape. This was a bloody scene of its body and soul being destroyed. It stunned everyone. I'll say it again. The people in the Nirvana Pond are my old friends. Whoever dares to take a step forward will be my enemy. Su Yan's battle aura soared into the sky. The dignity of an expert surged like the sea. He faced the strongest of the various races alone without changing his expression. Chapter 16:23. The reincarnated body had already tried to stop him, but he couldn't save the flying centipede. The young demon king's mastery of the mystic gate was truly superb. How many mystic gate escape techniques did he obtain? The flying centipede is really unlucky. It's quite sad that he died just like that. This proves how terrifying the young demon king is. He's the top talent of the Emperor Road. We can't afford to provoke him. Many people's faces were gloomy. The nearby mystic sky sex experts were also looking extremely grim. How did Su Yan obtain other escape techniques? Someone whispered, "Should we inform the saint? This is Nirvana treasured liquid. Its price is higher than the sky. This pool of Nirvana treasured liquid is enough for the saint to complete a major transformation. There's no time. Moreover, there's also a great opportunity in the golden heavenly river. The saint won't leave." Someone suggested that they should wait and see. At the critical moment, they could also try to interfere with the experts in the Nirvana pool. Su Yan's ferocious aura was earth-shattering. His majestic aura overflowed with chi and blood, and he destroyed the flying centipede with brute force. Too many people were tense. Su Yan's murderous aura was too dense. His eyes shot out shocking divine light, and his aura was about to go berserk. At this time, the experts didn't want to fight to the death with Su Xianren. If they really fought, the others would benefit. For a moment, the reincarnated body and the others were in a dilemma. No one expected Su Yan to say such harsh words. It seemed that the creature in the Nirvana pool had something to do with him. Boom! Suddenly, the ancient Nirvana pool shook violently. The awakened creature in the pool spewed out a large amount of energy. The entire Nirvana pool seemed a little dim. Countless Nirvana treasured liquid penetrated Bautzai's flesh shell. Suddenly, Bautzai's aura surged endlessly like a sleeping ancestral dragon. Its terrifying aura leaked out and affected the sky and earth. Yuan knew very well that Bautzai's cultivation was not ordinary. It had mastered the ancestral dragon's superpower, which was the most powerful superpower of the true dragon bloodline. Such strong potential. I wonder which race this creature is from. It's definitely not ordinary. The nearby onlookers were speechless. Just how powerful was this sleeping creature? The energy fluctuations were too terrifying. It had already reached the most critical moment of its breakthrough. It had revived from its deep slumber, and its aura was becoming more and more berserk. The faces of Jin Tiangang and the others sank. They could see that the Nirvana Pond's energy was rapidly depleting. If this continued, there wouldn't be much Nirvana-treasured liquid left. Murderous intent blossomed in the eyes of the reincarnated body. If this creature was really Su Yan's friend, then their combination would be even more powerful and intimidating. If he didn't make a move at this juncture, the consequences would be very serious. Do you smell the aroma? Some people felt shaken. The creature within the pond of rebirth seemed to have shed its mortal body and was about to transform into an immortal. This is Nirvana precious liquid, a resource that is hard to find in the world. This pool of Nirvana precious liquid will definitely allow him to be reborn, just like an innate immortal spirit. It might even be able to nurture an extremely powerful combat constitution. Yeah, Nirvana treasured liquid is hard to come by. Someone spoke, and his eyes were burning. Even though Su Xianren was here, they were beginning to become restless. The atmosphere in the field was incomparably oppressive. Cold, murderous intent blossomed unceasingly, and powerful auras continued to soar into the heavens. There were already a group of people who couldn't help but make a move. The reincarnated body's eyes were cold and eerie. He secretly took out a great killing weapon. He was really ready to make a move. Even if he couldn't obtain the Nirvana treasured liquid, he couldn't just watch Su Yan's friend complete his breakthrough. Otherwise, if this matter really spread out, their reputations would be greatly damaged, and they would be helping Su Yan for no reason at all. Nirvana treasured liquid. At this moment, a cry of surprise was heard. A woman with the countenance of a flower and the countenance of the moon had arrived. One after another, she was a peerless beauty that was rarely seen in the outside world. They formed a peerless scenery. Although there were two supreme young women here, the Supreme Saintess and Yong Xiuling, who possessed exceptional beauty, the appearance of this group of women was also incomparably gorgeous and eye-catching. It's the Skirich young master. A few people heaved a sigh of relief. Once this person arrived, things would become serious. He and Su Yan had a deep enmity, and there might be a decisive battle. Sure enough, in the distant space, a handsome man wearing a silver robe arrived. His immortal body was shining, and his magical power was as vigorous as the sea. His body transmitted the sound of scriptures that penetrated the heaven and earth, forming a shocking scripture order. This treasure, the Skirich young master was shocked. He came here for the young devil king, but he didn't expect to see a pool of Nirvana treasured liquid. His eyes immediately turned red, and he quickly noticed the situation here. When he saw Su Yan blocking the crowd, he sneered, "What are you doing here? Are you qualified to stand here?" "Whether I'm qualified or not, you'll know once you try," Su Yan coldly shouted. His aura also surged. The young master wanted to kill Su Yan, but Su Yan also wanted to kill him. Su Yan was determined to obtain the heaven-piercing halberd. If he could obtain this supreme killing weapon, it would be of great importance to the current Su Yan. Although he had some secret treasures, there was still a big gap between them and the heaven-piercing halberd. "Arrogant bastard." The young master angrily laughed. "I think you can scram now. You don't have enough power to block this place. yet you still want to dominate the entire battlefield? Don't you think you're making a fool of yourself? You and I together, the three of us can suppress him. The reincarnation body spoke, wanting to cooperate with the young master. Maybe they could also obtain all of the nirvana treasure liquid. Huh? Do I need to work with you to kill him? The heaven-piercing halberd replied coldly. His words were cold and did not give any face. The reincarnation body was silent. This was his first time meeting the young master. This person was indeed as arrogant as the rumors said. He was arrogant and domineering, relying on the heaven-piercing old man. Did he really think he was one of the top 3 elites? Which of the top 10 in Emperor Road had not killed their way to the top? Being praised did not mean that they had the combat power of the top 10. There have been cases of elites with rare talents. It was nothing new for them to die in the top 100. Moreover, this was Emperor Road. The heaven-piercing young master had a group of beauties with him. He really looked like a spoiled brat. Heaven-piercing young master, you're really arrogant. Su Yin sneered. He was trying his best to stall for time, giving the Baokai enough time to break through. He said, "Do you think you're invincible? Why did you run away in the sea region back then?" Hearing this, the Tongtian young master glanced at the group of beauties behind him. He smiled and said, "Inji, I heard that you know him. Aren't you going to greet him since you're old friends?" The golden fairy was stunning. She had snow-white skin and golden hair. She was extremely beautiful. Her entire body was overflowing with golden holy radiance. Her perfect figure was impressive. She looked at Su Yin with her beautiful eyes. Her emotions were extremely complicated. She did not expect that Su Yin, who had died in the darkness back then, was still alive. She did not expect to meet him in such a situation. "It's you." Su Yin was a little surprised. He then waved at Inji and said, "Why are you still standing there? Don't you think you should do something?" This strange scene made the scene a little creepy. What was going on? Even Yong Chioling looked at Inji with an interested gaze. She had to say, this woman was stunning. Could she be related to Su Yin? Everyone knew that a woman beside the heaven-piercing young master had been captured alive by Su Yin. This matter had caused quite a storm back then. The heaven-piercing young master's face suddenly turned gloomy. Su Yan's words were too strange. What did he mean? Go and kill him. He forcibly suppressed the anger in his heart and said coldly to Inji, "Don't worry. If he dares to move, I will kill him." This is going to be a good show. Fan Jian's blood was boiling. He did not know what kind of exciting scene would happen next. Many people were paying attention to the Golden Maiden. Her footsteps looked heavy. As she walked, divine light lingered around her body. It was dazzling. Take out your treasure and imprison him. The heaven-piercing young master secretly transmitted his voice. Inji, I hope you don't disappoint me. Don't forget your identity. Understand? Inji's body trembled slightly. She took a deep breath and walked towards Su Yin. A secret treasure with a terrifying aura appeared in her palm. It was a purple copper ring. It emitted the 5 elements saint light and caused the void to tremble. 5 elements ring. Someone was shocked. This was an extremely rare treasure. Once the purple copper ring was awakened, the 5 elements saint force would erupt and easily imprison experts. This was not an ordinary treasure at all. It was a treasure given to Inji by the heaven-piercing elder after she returned from guarding the immortal weapon tree. It could forcibly imprison a peak true immortal. It was extremely rare. She came. Step by step, she walked towards Su Yin. The 5 elements ring in her hand bloomed with brilliant light. 5 immortal Tao symbols also appeared one after another, corresponding to the 5 elements great Tao. Fan Jian stared. What was going on? Was she going to suppress Su Yin? Su Yin was extremely calm from the beginning to the end. He looked at the Golden Maiden. Boom! At this moment, the aura that emerged from the Nirvana Pond was even more shocking. The creature that was hibernating inside was about to awaken. A faint, deep roar exploded, causing the Nirvana Pond to fiercely tremble. There was even the outline of a huge true dragon, a mysterious creature with a true dragon on its back. The phenomenon was monstrous. The onlookers exclaimed, and their eyes began to turn red. The reincarnated bodies could no longer hold back and began to walk toward the Nirvana Pond. Young Xiuling and the others now hoped to see the heaven-piercing young master stop the young demon king. I wonder how powerful Bao Kai will be after coming out of seclusion. Yuan's face was full of anticipation. This could be considered the last descendant of Dragon City. With the ancestral dragon on his back, his chi and blood were extremely dense, drowning the world. The speed of his transformation was soaring. Hurry up and attack. The heaven-piercing young master reprimanded. He was not a fool. The nirvana precious liquid was the most important thing now. Boom! In an instant, the 5 elements ring enlarged and bloomed with a monstrous purple light. 5 immortal Tao symbols burned one after another and poured down. The vast 5 elements field covered the sky and the sun. It was also filled with an extremely terrifying sealing power. You want to attack me? Su Yin looked at Yin Ji with his deep eyes and said, Have you forgotten our agreement? I haven't. Her expression was complicated. She raised her jade-like hand and threw out the 5 elements ring. The 5 elements ring fell directly in front of the heaven-piercing young master. Yin Ji quickly stood beside Su Yin and said lightly to the heaven-piercing young master, Help me return the 5 elements ring to old man Tong Tian. I have an agreement with him. If Su Yin can survive, I am willing to be his servant. Since he has appeared, I can fulfill my promise. Chapter 16:24. The entire area changed color and became gloomy. Everyone was dumbfounded and petrified. The woman whom the Skirich young master regarded as his exclusive property was now willing to become Su Yan's slave. This matter was so frightening that it made people go crazy. Moreover, it happened right in front of the heaven-span young lord. It had to be said that many people were terrified because this was a power capable of destroying heaven and earth, leaking out and filling every inch of space-time. Crack! Space and time disintegrated, exploding into a huge black hole. The Skirich young master's face was somewhat sinister. He was furious to the extreme. If he couldn't kill the young Devil King, how would he have the face to contend for hegemony in the Emperor Road in the future? Traitor! He roared. His aura was completely different. After all, Yin Ji was different in his heart. She was also different from the woman beside her. She could be considered an unnamed disciple of the Skirich young master. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given her the task of looking after the immortal weapon tree. To be precise, Yin Ji was a descendant adopted by an old servant under the Skirich young master. She was accepted as an unnamed disciple because of her outstanding talent. I'm not a traitor, Yin Ji corrected. The Skirich old man asked me to look after the immortal weapon tree, but he didn't expect the mysterious yellow universe to be sealed. In his anger, he killed my adoptive father. At this point, Yin Ji's eyes turned red and flashed with hatred and anger. Although she had no parents, her adoptive father treated her very well. However, the immortal weapon tree was too important to the Skirich old man. The treasure was sealed in the mysterious yellow universe, and her adoptive father met with misfortune. Traitor die. The Skirich young master attacked her in a frenzy. He directly raised his hand, and this palm penetrated the heavens and earth, causing the vault of heaven to undulate. Skirich palm. Many people turned pale. This was an ultimate technique created by the Skirich old man. Only the Skirich immortal physique was qualified to erupt with its divine might. The terrifying palm blotted out the sky and was boundlessly vast. The moment it struck down, the boundless earth collapsed. The nearby people trembled and quickly retreated. The range of this palm was too vast. It was as if it was going to wipe out Su Yin and the others. Su Yin rose from the ground. His fist seal was shocking to the extreme. It was as if he was pushing the universe and the starry sky as he smashed toward the Skirich palm. Suppress. The heavenly grandmaster, young master, roared, and his palm energy covered heaven and earth. He descended from the sky, and large stars of the universe floated out from his palm. They interweaved with all kinds of law runes, and they also bloomed with heavenly radiance. They were equally majestic and shocking. Boom! Su Yan's fist punched forward. His fist was extremely ferocious and domineering. His fists surged and shook the stars in the sky until they trembled. The entire giant palm was distorted as if it was about to explode. You're not qualified to compete with me in terms of magical power. The heavenly Grandmaster young master roared, and his giant palm lit up. Soon, silver light shone brightly, and in the center of his palm was a sea of stars. His fingers were as thick as galaxies, and his giant palm was covered in countless law runes. In an instant, a large portion of it surged out. This was a universe in the palm, not only in name, but also in reality. It carried a vast and ancient divine might as it sealed the heavens and sealed the earth. It wanted to suppress Su Yin within. Open for me. Su Yin let out a loud roar. His disheveled hair fluttered in the wind, and his body surged with terrifying divine radiance. At this moment, he was like a heaven-splitting overlord that was born. His roar shook the starry sky, and the light of chi and blood gushed out from his pores, tearing apart the stars in the sky. Break! His aura became stronger and stronger, and in the end, the divine radiance reached 1,000,000 zhang. His flesh shell forcibly opened the world in the palm. It was a shocking scene. The world in the palm was collapsing, and Su Yan's chi and blood overflowed into the sky. Gods and devils were howling through heaven and earth. No matter how powerful the heavenly Grandmaster young master was, he couldn't suppress Su Yan's sharpness. Attack! In an instant, the reincarnated bodies and the others attacked, killing their way to the pond of nirvana. Su Yan's courage was exceptional, and the killing intent in his eyes was like a waterfall. He let out a furious roar. If anyone dares to hurt my friends, I, Su Yan, won't dare to do anything in this lifetime, but I'll still destroy your race. The cruel voice was like an explosion in purgatory, and some of the experts who attacked felt their hair stand on end and were trembling with fear. These words were too serious. Once they attacked, it was equivalent to forming a life and death grudge with a young Devil King. A large number of people calmed down and didn't dare to approach the pond of nirvana. They were quite afraid of the young Devil King. However, some people weren't afraid at all. The pond of nirvana bewitched people's souls. As long as they could break through the defensive line, they would be able to obtain the legendary, divine, precious liquid. Number 1 sword under the heavens. Are you courting death? The reincarnated bodies were both shocked and furious. Fan Jin attacked, brandishing the tattered replica of the Sky Hegemon sword and slashing at himself. All of a sudden, an extremely sharp arrow was shot out. It was like a concentrated sea of flames, tearing apart the sky in an instant. When it arrived, one of the experts who attacked was terrified. It was as if a vast sea of flames was falling from the sky. He let out a roar of despair, but there was no way to escape. The bow pulled by Yuan was too astonishing. It contained an incomparable heavenly power and directly shot an expert to death. Yuan was tall and majestic. He held the bow in his hand, and the blood in his entire body was boiling. Behind him, the image of a bow shooting down the sun appeared faintly. He was like the reincarnation of a terrifying divine archer who wanted to kill all the blazing suns in the heavens. It's just the two of them. What are you afraid of? Kill them for me. More and more people joined in because the pond of nirvana was getting less and less. If they delayed any longer, they might not even get a strand of it. Kill! The whole battlefield was trembling. A great battle had broken out, and a large number of experts rushed into the battlefield. Although Fan Jian blocked the reincarnated bodies, there were too many experts joining in. This scene of total destruction gave Yuan a headache. Young Demon King, you dare to humiliate me? I will let you die a horrible death. The Skirich young master was furious. His blood was gushing out from his head. This was because the one fighting with him was not Su Yan's main body. Under the 3 pure chi, he still had 2 incarnations guarding the pond of nirvana. Young Demon King, you are too tyrannical. Young Chioling angrily rebuked. The pond of nirvana is getting less and less. You can't stop this round. Whoever dares to take a step forward will be killed without mercy. Su Yan's two incarnations surged with monstrous fluctuations. Their clothes fluttered, and they each held a vicious weapon. There was nothing to say. The pond of Nirvana was precious. A terrifying battle had broken out here, and the entire mountain peak was shaking. A shocking aura rushed into the sky and even fell down, suppressing a group of experts who were climbing the mountain. Su Yan had fought a bloody battle with many experts and encountered many great dangers. Even the Saintess had joined in. No one would give up on this opportunity. Facing the sky full of divine might, Su Yan's two incarnations blazed brightly. They evolved the Kunpeng race's strongest ability and charged into the battlefield. They wanted to buy time for Bao Kai. Kill! He roared, wild and tyrannical. He used the full power of the Eight Escape and grasped the momentum of heaven and earth. Su Yan's every move had unparalleled offensive power. Those who lacked battle power could not even get close. Once they did, they would explode. Let's see how long you can last. Jin Tiangang was furious. Yes, his pores surged with blood energy. The immortal scripture was also activated. His strength was inconceivable. His blood energy was about to drown the entire battlefield. He erupted with the strongest killing intent. Who dares to take a punch from me? He roared. His unparalleled fist carried a domineering aura and attacked Su Yan. The void exploded. Su Yan's fist collided with his. It was like the sky was falling and the earth was splitting. Shocking energy ripples wantonly swept across. The group of experts who wanted to fish in troubled waters felt their hair stand on end. Many of them were sent flying. At this moment, they knew clearly that this war was not something they could participate in. Transcending heaven immortal physique, transcending heaven immeasurable. At this moment, the battle at the top of the sky had reached its climax. The transcending heaven immortal physique's strongest state was in full bloom. It was accompanied by all kinds of shocking phenomena in the transcending heaven's starry sea. It was enough to suppress all the kings in the world. One had to admit that he was very powerful. He suppressed Su Yan's incarnation to the point that it became somewhat dim. This was the strongest physique. Its magic power overflowed and contained the mysterious patterns of the transcending heaven immortal physique. It was as if hundreds of millions of layers were sprinkled down. Some of the onlookers in the distance trembled. Su Yan fought a bloody battle. Although his aura declined quickly under the transcending heaven immortal physique, this battle was too amazing. This was a battle between young supremes. He could fight several of them at the same time. It was enough to see Su Yan's power and shocking level. At this moment, the pond of Nirvana trembled even more violently. The sleeping giant was waking up faster. But the more it was like this, the angrier Yong, Qiuling, and the others became. In the end, they used their most terrifying killing moves. They bombarded Su Yan's two incarnations and forced them to retreat. Blood flowed from the corners of their mouths. This was a bitter battle. They were all facing powerful enemies. Even if Su Yan could fight, it was difficult for two fists to fight against four hands. Of course, the most important thing was that the losses were too great. Bao Kai, you're really sleepy. Wake up. Su Yan growled. He couldn't hold on much longer. Who was he facing? Eternal Divine Physique, Jin Tiangang, and Tong Tian Young Master. These were the three strongest physiques. They were all powerful experts who were qualified to be ranked among the top 10,000 on the Monarch ranking. His three incarnations were being crushed one after another, causing his three incarnations to dim rapidly. Bullying with numbers, that's not very nice. A playful voice came. A woman in purple clothes came. She looked like a fairy with a smile on her face. She carried 5 sword embryos on her back. She was indeed young and beautiful. What's your name? Su Yan was slightly startled and asked. Call me Fairy Zixia, she said proudly with her hands behind her back, like a fairy patrolling the battlefield. Su Yan laughed loudly. He was full of pride. Go. Fairy Zixia waved her hand. The 5 sword embryos on her back flew out and rushed towards Jin Tiangang. You're such a beautiful lady. I can't bear to use the sword formation against you. Fairy Xia's black, gem-like eyes looked at Yang Qiuling. She said with a smile, "Come, let's fight." Su Yan's expression became cold again. The two incarnations left the battlefield and merged into one under the three pure one state. Tong Tian, young master, I'll kill you today. Heaven and earth resonated. Su Yan exploded. In an instant, his aura was so strong that it covered the sky. Many readers asked for more chapters today. I'm sorry. I just came back from a trip, so I have limited chapters. I'll write more in a few days. Chapter 1625. A beautiful woman in purple with the demeanor of a fairy rushed towards Jin Tiangang with 4 sword embryos on her back. She even wanted to challenge Yang Qiuling. This shocked all the experts in the world. Both Jin Tiangang and Yang Qiuling were not ordinary people. Was this a joke? However, Yang Qiuling looked at Fairy Xia. She did not think this was a joke. Immediately, her expression changed. Even Fan Jian, who was fighting with the reincarnated entity, was shocked. He looked at the 5 great sword embryos that slashed across the sky. It was as if the 5 great divine swords had slashed down from the ancient times. They formed a sword formation that filled the sky with chaos. What was that? One after another, the chaotic sword chi was unparalleled, splitting the starry sky. The 5 sword embryos, no one knew what grade they were. When combined together, they formed a chaotic sword formation that surged like an ocean, drowning Jin Tiangang. What a joke! These were the 5 treasured swords given to Fairy Xia by the mysterious skeleton. They formed a chaotic sword formation directly. As for the fairy-like Fairy Xia, although she had a smile that wasn't a smile, Yang Qiuling sensed a primal chaos, sword energy within her body that was enough to slay a king. Could this be the woman that Big Brother was talking about? Fan Jian felt a headache coming. He knew that Su Yan's sword inheritance came from an incomprehensible existence. Then, the status of the disciple he cultivated was much higher than the Skirich young master. This battle had exceeded everyone's expectations. No one expected this to happen. The Holy Maiden's face was dark. She originally wanted to fish in troubled waters. She did not want to become enemies with the young Devil King. If she really wanted to, she could use the Holy Maiden to kill her way into the Nirvana Pond. I'm just taking some. It's not a big deal, right? Although the Holy Maiden was afraid of Su Yan, the Nirvana treasured liquid was too important. She would not give up. The Holy Maiden was speechless. Around the Nirvana Pond, layers of killing formations were activated one after another. They were not set up by Su Yan. Bao Kai was in seclusion, so he must have set up some backups. Dozens of killing formations protected the Nirvana Pond. Anyone who broke in would be killed. I must obtain the Nirvana treasured liquid. The Saintess no longer hesitated and took action. She was going to break through a series of great killing formations. If she had enough time, she would be able to slaughter her way in. Look, someone was roaring in a low voice, their emotions surging. At this moment, Su Yan, who had combined his chi into the 3 pure ones, soared to the top of the sky. The light of chi and blood gushing out of his flesh shell crashed into the sky, full of runes. Su Yan was in his most powerful state. His hair danced in the wind, and his aura surged. He charged toward the heaven-span young master, and his god power surged, accompanied by order, magical laws, and boundless immortal battle prowess. Boom! Billions of runes gushed out of Su Yan's pores, forming the heavenly power of the Koan Peng as it suppressed the heavenly Grandmaster Tong Tian. In almost an instant, the starry skies turned into a huge black hole. It was as if a black ocean had appeared here, and a Koan Peng emerged from the ocean. Its body was indescribably massive, and just like that, it threw itself over. Buzz! The heavenly Grandmaster, young master's body, burned brightly as he raised his hand and smacked it forward with all his might. Roar! In an instant, a ferocious aura filled the entire place. A true phoenix with bright feathers and overflowing divine might soared through the sky. The aura it emitted was too frightening as it faced off against the Koan Peng. What kind of energy was this? What kind of divine ability was this? It had to be the legendary ancestral phoenix secret technique, one of the most powerful great divine abilities in history. Whether it was the Kuan Pong or the ancestral phoenix secret technique, they were both world-shaking. Their auras merged, forming a world-destroying storm that suppressed everyone until they almost couldn't breathe. This guy is so powerful. Fairy Zixiao was somewhat alarmed. How many years had it been? What had Su Yin experienced? Two peak great divine abilities collided. Just the energy storm that swept out was enough to shock everyone. Ji was shaken. The Su Yin of the past had now grown to this level. He was qualified to compete with the strongest young supreme beings. Kuan Peng against true phoenix. The two supreme families' most powerful divine abilities were unleashed. The collision was deafening, and heaven and earth seemed to explode. Kill! The Kuan Peng and true phoenix collided. Murderous light surged and covered the sky. At the same time, the two great divine abilities pushed the ferocious aura forward. Their figures clashed with lightning speed. Young Devil King, use your full strength. Otherwise, you'll die a horrible death. The Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master shouted coldly. He waved his palm and attacked the oncoming Su Yin again and again. Each palm print was more violent than the last. In the end, it was as if the Milky Way was pouring into the nine heavens. A terrifying aura filled the entire battlefield. Boom! Su Yan's fist prints were huge. One after another, they bloomed. It was as if the flourishing universe was lying on his fists, causing Su Yan's flesh shell to burn brightly. In the end, it surged with a terrifying radiance that soared into the sky and split the sea. The Kuan Peng's aura soared along with Su Yan's. It was also majestic to the extreme. The battle instantly reached its climax. The two great experts fought fiercely and clashed more than 10 times in a short period of time. The terrifying battle shook the heavens and the earth. The two great experts unleashed their invincible divine abilities to kill their opponents. The Kuan Peng against the true phoenix. Su Yin against the Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master. The battle between the peak experts was so intense that the heavens and the earth disintegrated. Destructive storms swept across the sky. This was definitely the most amazing battle in the Emperor Road battlefield. Heavenly Scripture. The group of women under the Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master's command turned pale. The Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master had already unleashed his full strength and used the power of the Heavenly Scripture. How strong was his opponent? The Heavenly Scripture was activated, causing the Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master's aura to grow infinitely. He was like a god of war that reached the heavens. A terrifying source of energy whizzed out and attacked Su Yin. What a terrifying battle! The onlookers were shocked. It was too fierce and intense. The two great heroes clashed, and it was difficult to tell who would win. The most terrifying power gushed out from both sides. The most shocking battle physiques were used in the divine abilities. In fact, the Kuan Peng and the true phoenix could represent the pinnacle of divine abilities. The two ferocious beasts fought fiercely above their heads. The two great experts also began to fight head-on. Su Yan's fists drew blood. His blood boiled and spewed out through his flesh shell, making him look like a golden god of war. He activated the power of the Genesis Scripture and continuously suppressed the Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master. The outside world could not tell who was stronger, but the Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master knew very well that he was being suppressed. The more they fought, the stronger the suppression became. Although his strength and magic power were boundless, it was difficult to suppress Su Yan's tyrannical battle strength. Heavenly Grandmaster Immortal Body, boundless magic power. The Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master roared and released the strongest power of the Heavenly Grandmaster Immortal Body. The energy was even more turbulent than the ocean. An unparalleled power was awakening. It contained the origin power of the physique and was filled with unparalleled killing power. It suppressed Su Yin. Almost billions of layers of energy poured out. This was the most terrifying state of the Heavenly Grandmaster Immortal Body. The power of a true immortal. Everyone's hearts trembled. This was the heavenly Grandmaster immortal body? Wasn't its energy too majestic? It could be said that a peak true immortal was roaring here. The terrifying aura scattered down, causing everyone's hair to stand on end. They all wanted to bow down and worship the heavenly Grandmaster, young master, in his strongest state. Did he really think that the strongest physique was useless? At the same time, Su Yin seemed to be brutally suppressed by the four Cs. Even his powerful flesh shell was in danger. Yuan's heart was tense. This should be the strongest enemy Su Yin had encountered in the Emperor Road. After all, the heavenly Grandmaster young master had the strongest physique. He really did not know how overpowered this kind of physique was. Young Demon King, you're finished. Hand over your life. The heavenly Grandmaster young master shouted excitedly. He continuously activated the origin power of the physique and evolved a terrifying killing ocean. It had already begun to cover Su Yin. Inside it, there were monstrous anomalies. It was as if billions of stars were arranged in the universe, connecting heaven and earth. Rumble. The sky was filled with terrifying aura. Above the flesh shell, Su Yan's body was showing signs of disintegration. However, the more he fought in the face of the physique suppression, the more his chi and blood surged. His flesh shell was even more shocking. Rolling battle flames had already penetrated his flesh shell and broke out of his body, forming all kinds of terrifying anomalies. It was as if he was really creating a golden age of the universe. Roar, Su Yin roared. His hair danced in the wind, and his eyes were wide open. His chi and blood were expanding. He was like a young, immortal king who created the world, standing at the top of the 33 levels of heaven. The pressure from the transcending heaven immortal body, a special physique, stimulated Su Yan's flesh shell to glow. His aura changed constantly. Sometimes he was like the celestial demon Overlord body. Sometimes he was like the immortal body. Sometimes he was like the immortal body. What's this? The heavenly Grandmaster, young master's face darkened. It was as if he was facing a group of celestial demons. Su Yan's flesh shell was too frightening. It constantly emitted all kinds of terrifying auras. As the initial sutra was activated, it turned into a primitive war body, resisting the suppression of the heavenly Grandmaster immortal force. Roar! Su Yin roared at the sky. The sky collapsed, and the sun and moon wailed. The heavenly Grandmaster immortal force that filled the sky collapsed. The loud roar shook the heavenly Grandmaster young master's body, and he almost flew out. His hair danced in the wind, and he looked majestic. All kinds of terrifying physiques appeared one after another. It was as if he had opened up the chaos of the universe. Celestial demons stood erect in it, and it was as if the heavens were in full bloom. How is this possible? The heavenly Grandmaster young master was doubting his life. It was as if he was facing a group of the strongest experts. What kind of physique did he have? Wasn't it too special? At this moment, Su Yin felt like he could penetrate everything, merge everything, and become the strongest expert. My path, my Tao, my Dharma, he roared. He had gained a lot from the battle with the heavenly Grandmaster young master. He felt that his body had a lot of potential that could be unearthed. He was excited and surprised. In fact, just Su Yan's physique alone was enough to suppress the heavenly Grandmaster immortal body's power. It was extremely frightening. Kill! Su Yan waved his fist. This fist was filled with all kinds of power, and it contained Su Yan's essence, energy, and spirit. One could imagine how strong it was. Bam! The fist seal swallowed thousands of miles, and a Kuan Pung erupted. A true phoenix was blasted apart. The invincible fist aura blasted towards the heavenly Grandmaster young master. No matter how shocking his battle strength was, and how terrifying the heavenly Grandmaster immortal body was, at this moment, Su Yan's flesh shell was too tyrannical. It swept away thousands of troops, and the heavenly Grandmaster young master was sent flying. His chest was torn apart. If not for the heavenly Grandmaster immortal body's strength, Su Yan's fist would have killed him. The whole world was silent, and some couldn't believe their eyes. From the beginning to the end of their fight, it was too fast. It was a lightning-like attack, a confrontation of the strongest power. But now, the Heavenly Grandmaster Immortal Body was defeated. He had lost in a contest of physical strength. Then how strong was Su Yan's physique? How terrifying was it? Even the powerful Heavenly Grandmaster Immortal Body was suppressed. Su Yan's aura was terrifying, like a demon king who crossed the heavens. He looked down at the Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master and shouted, "Kid, do you admit defeat?" Young Demon King. The Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master's face was twisted, and he revealed a cruel smile. "So what if you're strong? You're just a stepping stone for me to become a supreme on the monarch ranking. Besides, the Heavenly Grandmaster Immortal Body's strongest point is its endless magical energy, not the strength of its flesh. Cut the crap. Get over here and accept your death." Su Yan was like a supreme being who had descended from the heavens and earth. His aura became stronger and stronger. "You're the one who's going to die." The Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master roared. He instantly took out the Heavenly Grandmaster halberd and roared, "This weapon of mine will drink the blood of the Demon King to its heart's content. It will be one of the strongest weapons in the world in the future." "You're right, but it belongs to me," Su Yan said coldly. Chapter 16:26. The heaven-reaching halberd was as bright as snow. Everyone knew how abnormal this treasure was. It scattered down immortal Tao runes that were unique to the immortal weapon tree. They were like immortal Tao laws that were born from the creation of heaven and earth. The entire halberd flowed with peerless sharpness. It could easily split the sky as it slashed down. "Demon King, give me your life." The Skirich Young Master's killing intent surged. What he was proud of was the boundless divine power stored in his physique. He could continuously activate the heaven-reaching halberd to slash Su Yan. Clang! Su Yan's expression was solemn. A silver dragon's sword floated up and down with Su Yan. The sword body shone, and boundless sword light shone out. It was also a rare, killing weapon. It's just a piece of scrap metal. There's no need to take it out and embarrass yourself. The Skirich Young Master pressed forward. With a great killing weapon in hand, he was quite valiant. The heaven-reaching halberd gave him shocking divine power. In an instant, it slashed on the silver dragon sword, causing huge sparks to blossom. The ear-piercing sound was deafening. What a terrifying weapon! Everyone was terrified. This halberd was too shocking. It caused the silver dragon sword to dim. The entire sword body was about to explode uncontrollably. "Ha ha ha, Demon King, what are you going to use to fight me?" The Skirich Young Master laughed wildly. The halberd soared through the sky, shining with a dazzling light. Accompanied by a terrifying, tearing power, it attacked Su Yan. This attack was very fast, wanting to cut off his arm in an instant. Along the way, a destructive aura bloomed. The halberd became even more shocking. The dense immortal Tao runes shone, forming a terrifying space-time crack. Everyone was shocked. The killing power was endless and terrifying. No matter how hard one's body was, even if it was a powerful immortal Tao weapon, it would definitely be shattered in a single exchange. After all, this was a weapon that the immortal weapon tree had nurtured for 1,000,000 years. It had stolen a vast amount of energy from the Xianhuang universe to form a heaven-reaching halberd. It could erupt at any time and kill boundless enemies. Su Yan's expression changed. His blood was boiling as he shouted in his heart, "Good weapon, it will be mine sooner or later." Boom! Su Yan suddenly threw the great solar saber at the towering halberd. At the same time, Su Yan's arms were covered with the heavenly beast gloves, and he held the silver dragon sword. He had made up his mind to slowly deplete the young master's godly power and snatch the Tongtian halberd away at the crucial moment. Now was naturally not the time to do so. If the young master of the Tongtian sect was startled, the enemy might just run away like the last time. That sword formation is too terrifying. It has trapped Jin Tiangang for such a long time. Although Jin Tiangang has taken out his ultimate weapon, it seems like he won't be able to break through the chaos sword formation in a short period of time. I wonder where this woman came from. Could she be a young queen of the celestial court? In addition to the living beings slumbering in the Nirvana pond, the lineup is too frightening. The spectators in the distant world were shocked. Wasn't the celestial court's waters too deep? Fairy Zixia was extremely talented. After all, she was facing the Young family's eternal divine body. This woman was also a proud daughter of the heavens who was famous in the immortal celestial domain. However, no matter how strong Young Qiuling was, she couldn't suppress Fairy Zixia. The mysterious woman in front of her didn't even seem to be using her full strength. This made Young Qiuling feel embarrassed. As a woman, her competitive spirit was getting more and more intense. She used the Young family's ultimate techniques one after another. She didn't believe that she couldn't force Fairy Zixia to use her full strength. Kill. Fan Jian and the reincarnation body fought fiercely, attracting everyone's attention. Fan Jian felt that he was very unlucky. A few days ago, he had a big fight with the young master of the Tongtian sect, and now he encountered another monster. However, Fan Jian was also a ruthless scum. The more he fought, the braver he became. He wasn't weak, and the battle strength he released became more and more ferocious. He started a shocking collision with the reincarnation body. Look, the killing formation guarding the Nirvana pond is about to break. At this moment, the whole place was in an uproar. Many people were restless and couldn't wait to rush over. The dozens of killing formations guarding the Nirvana pond were broken one after another by the Grand Saintess. She was like a flying immortal and finally released her full strength, tearing the final line of defense with the Grand Saintess technique. However, when the seal of the Nirvana pond was completely broken, when a large number of experts gathered and rushed to the Nirvana pond, there was a burst of roars. It was like a fierce dragon coming out of the Nirvana pond. The roars made the enemies tremble and their blood boil. Bastards, how dare you disturb the Bao-Cai's seclusion? Are you all out of your minds? The Bao-Cai roared fiercely, and its flesh shell surged with monstrous, true immortal light. The flesh shell surged with a vast amount of blood, forming an ancient dragon, and accompanied the Bao-Cai's roar. Ancestral dragon secret technique. The Grand Saintess exclaimed. The extinct Grand Super technique, the strongest super technique of the true dragon lineage, was controlled by this creature. Boom! The Grand Saintess attacked with all her might, wanting to get some Nirvana liquid. The Bao-Cai's face was fierce, and its panda eyes were wide open. It thought it could sweep the world after coming out of seclusion, but who knew that the little girl opposite it was not so simple. The Grand Saint technique had already attacked, and its attack power was almost invincible. The Bao-Cai's protective divine light was blasted apart, and a snow-white hand reached into the Nirvana pond. This made the Bao-Cai angry. This was its treasure, and who dared to take it away? Little B***, how dare you snatch this beast god's treasure? It was like an invincible saint beast. Its roar shook the sky, and 9 real dragons appeared behind it. Each of them was as thick as a mountain. They flew across the sky and covered the earth as they attacked the Saintess. Yuan. The Bao-Cai was also shocked. It saw its old friend and even saw Su Yin, who was fighting with the Tongtian young master. It shouted excitedly, "You're here!" Its aura became even more violent, like a burning true dragon immortal furnace, and its mouth and nose spewed out terrifying holy light. This is the ancestral dragon secret technique. The crowd was terrified. Rays of holy light turned into true dragons and danced between heaven and earth. This was the scene of thousands of dragons coming out of their nest, and it had the aura to suppress everyone. The Grand Saintess was moved. Her Grand Saint technique could not break the ancestral dragon secret technique, mainly because this creature's vitality was too strong. Its pores automatically leaked the essence of heaven and earth, and who knew how many good things it had swallowed. You're the guy who called himself the Beast God? The Grand Saintess was surprised. Where did the Xian people's #1 Supreme Being go? What bullsh *T #1 Supreme Being? Who gave him that title? The Bao-Cai's words were like thunder. That kid with black stench was suppressed by me long ago. I think he's turned into a pile of bones by now. What did you say? The Grand Saintess' eyes widened. She lost her composure. The Xian people's #1 supreme being was dead? Fan Jian was dumbfounded. Wasn't this too cruel? However, Fan Jian thought it was bragging. Su Yin knew that the Baokai was bragging. However, the Xian people's #1 supreme being had most likely encountered him. He did not know if he had suffered a loss, but he guessed that the Xian people's #1 supreme being was not having a good time. Otherwise, how could the Baokai have the time to refine the Nirvana liquid here? Young Demon King, is running all you can do? Come and fight with me. The Tongtian young master roared angrily. Su Yin had mastered the mystic 8 escape technique, so it was no problem for him to dodge the Tongtian halberd. Even the great solar realm was in tatters, and a chip had appeared on Su Yan's silver dragon sword. This made Su Yan's heart ache. Looking at the Tongtian young master charging toward him, Su Yan's eyes shot out a bone-chilling, killing intent. The Baokai had already awakened, and the situation here had been stabilized. He could go all out. The halberd swept across the sky, looking down on everything. Su Yan's palm blazed, and the heavenly beast glove shone. With a rumble, he struck forward and collided with the Tongtian halberd. Kill! The Tongtian young master roared. His hair danced in the wind, and the Tongtian immortal power in his body surged out. It contained the power to destroy everything and suppressed Su Yan's flesh shell. At the same time, the halberd shone and released endless destructive power. Kill! Su Yan roared. The silver dragon sword evolved to the 3rd stage, turning into the swimming dragon silver sky sword. It blocked the Tongtian halberd's killing power. At the same time, he rose into the air. At this moment, Su Yan's aura was completely different. The moment his essence spirit bloomed and fused with his body, his aura soared. His terrifying blood qi shook the universe. His essence spirit. At the same time, the reincarnation form cultivators paled. Exactly how strong was this soul qi fluctuation that caused Su Yan's physical body to grow stronger and dominate the heavens? This was Su Yan's strongest state. Even the Tongtian immortal power in the sky was suppressed. It's here. Kill! Su Yin exuded earth-shattering divine power. The Kuan Peng's secret art was unleashed. His majestic aura covered the sky and suppressed everything. The piercing heaven immortal energy in the sky exploded, and a shocking power swept toward the piercing heaven immortal young master. Roar! The Tongtian young master roared. His immortal body burned, and Dharma power surged out. He didn't believe that he couldn't stop Su Yin. The halberd in his hand was becoming more and more terrifying. In the pinnacle battle, the two experts were almost fighting with their lives. The swimming dragon silver sky sword moved with Su Yin, and the sword formation formed by it blocked the Tongtian halberd's attack. Su Yin became more and more courageous as he fought. His moves were bold, and he suppressed the Tongtian young master. As time passed, Su Yan's aura became more and more intense. It was as if he was opening up the universe. Terrifying gods and devils stood in it, representing all kinds of supreme battle constitutions. Su Yan's body burned and was about to explode. In the extreme confrontation, the potential of his body surged, and even the starry sky rumbled. Heavens, what kind of physique does the Demon King have? Countless people were terrified. This was a terrifying scene. Gods and devils were born in the primordial universe, and their roars shook the sun, moon, and universe. Heaven and earth lost their color, and they were forcefully suppressed. It was as if a group of terrifying kings had crossed through time and space. Kill! Su Yin let out a long roar, and his shocking power kept attacking the Tongtian young master. No matter how strong his power was, the layers of defense collapsed. The heavenly beast gloves were already at their peak state. They attacked again and again, suppressing the Tongtian immortal body. The silver battle suit on his body finally awakened. This person's magic power was really monstrous. He activated 2 supreme treasures in succession, and there was still abundant magic power stored in his body to resist Su Yan's power. Some people felt that if it wasn't for the silver battle suit, the Tongtian young master would have most likely been beaten to death. Because Su Yan's state was too frightening. Chaos filled the sky, and terrifying gods and devils of war passed through Su Yan's body and occupied between heaven and earth. It was as if the gods of war were here, and they carried the might of heaven from ancient times to attack the Tongtian young master. Su Yan was slightly stunned. At the critical moment, the Grand Saintess transmitted a message to him, telling him a secret. Almost instantly, Su Yan comprehended the mystery of this secret, causing the heavenly beast gloves to become much more terrifying. Suddenly, two heavenly beasts appeared on Su Yan's palms, and their aura was terrifying. Not good. The Tongtian young master lost control. His battle suit, made of great luo silver essence, was broken. Of course, it wasn't the battle suit that broke, but the energy order of the battle suit was forcefully broken. Waves of terrifying aura rushed over, temporarily suppressing the Tongtian immortal physique. Tongtian young master, you're finished. Su Yan's fists resonated and broke the defensive order of the great luo silver essence battlesuit. Immediately, two bloody holes appeared on the Tongtian young master's body. Everyone was shocked. If not for the battlesuit, the Tongtian immortal physique might have been destroyed. Su Yan had already gone berserk. He entered the battle domain, and his moves were grand. Together with the strongest state of the heavenly beast gloves, he continuously unleashed thunderous attacks. In the end, Su Yan's punches became more and more terrifying. Every punch left a bloody hole on the Tongtian young master's body. Su Yan's eyes were frightening, and his killing intent overflowed. His ancient physique was awakening, and his gray blood was boiling. His body seemed to have been buried in the heavenly demon grotto heaven, and the terrifying physique power that had been nurtured burst out in hundreds and thousands, finally forming a terrifying fist storm. My body is the strongest body in the world. Who can compete with me? A terrifying belief was released. This was the power of invincibility. The more he fought, the stronger he became. The more he fought, the more terrifying his belief became. Su Yan's heart surged, and a breath exploded in the Emperor's road. This was his invincible aura. Kill! The final punch was so domineering that it pierced the Tongtian young master's forehead, shattering his head. I'm the Tongtian young master. Please vote for me. I still want to reconstruct my battle body. I'll give all the beauties around me to you. Vote for me. Chapter 16:27. The Tongtian young master's head had been split into several pieces. The terrifying punch stunned everyone's hearts. They could not believe their eyes. The Tongtian young master, who had monstrous magic power, was beaten by Su Yan until his entire body was riddled with wounds. Even his head was split into pieces. Many saints in the distance trembled. They were the inheritances of various sects and knew how powerful the Tongtian immortal physique was. It had boundless energy and was almost invincible. But now, the young Devil King was domineering. He didn't use any tricks and beat the Tongtian young master with brute force. The outcome was obvious. The reincarnation physiques were solemn. What kind of physique did Su Yan have? He seemed to be standing in a world of gods and devils. The light of various physiques sputtered, forming an ancient and vast scene. At this moment, Su Yan seemed to be standing at the peak of chaos, looking down on everyone. He was so powerful that it made people tremble. Roar! The heavenly master, Tongtian young master, let out a roar. His tattered head shone, and his flesh and blood began to burn. Flames of fury surged from his heart, shattering the void. His hair was disheveled, and his mangled body emitted a terrifying Tongtian aura. Even the Daluo battle armor that covered his body revived and wrapped around his crumbling body. He let out a hysterical roar at Su Yan. No one had ever forced him to this step, and no one had ever beaten him up. Losing to Su Yan in a battle of the same generation was an outcome that the Tongtian young master could not accept. What are you screaming for? I'll kill you. Su Yin stepped forward, and the vast void collapsed. A space-time rift extended in front of the Tongtian young master. He came for the kill, and his aura was even more domineering, filled with a domineering aura. Buzz. The Tongtian young master's bloody flesh burned fiercely. His Tongtian immortal force was fully awakened, and his body was covered in immortal Dao runes. He didn't believe that he couldn't stop Su Yin. Boom! Su Yin raised his fist and charged over. What he faced was also the phenomenon of the Starry Sea. The battle armor forged from the top-grade Great Luo silver essence was hard to find in the world. Under the activation of the Heavenly Grandmaster Young Master's strongest magic power, the armor transformed into a universe of stars. Huge golden stars hung in the sky, and they began to revolve. A suppressive force flowed out and swept toward Su Yin, wanting to stop him. Everyone could see that the Grandmaster Skirich Young Master was frantically absorbing all sorts of great tonics and was about to stand up in a short period of time. However, Su Yin had charged over, and his fist shook the world. The heavenly beast gloves were a precious treasure of the sovereign sect, and when combined with the secret technique that the Holy Maiden had passed down to Su Yin, the silver gloves had been fully awakened, and two condensed heavenly beasts had appeared. This is definitely the most precious treasure of my clan. The expressions of the experts of the sovereign sect were unsightly. Why is the precious treasure of the Holy Maiden in Su Yan's possession? This was woven from the fur of a golden immortal realm heavenly beast, and it could erupt with terrifying slaughter in its strongest state. There was no doubt that Su Yan's body was too domineering. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to unleash the strongest combat strength of the heavenly beast gloves. Su Yan's fists shook at the same time, and the two heavenly beasts charged out as well. Just their towering and vast flesh shells alone had directly opened up the universe of stars. Although the huge golden stars that filled the sky smashed the heavenly beast phantoms to the point of trembling, the strength of the heavenly beasts had also forcefully broken through the grand immortal armor once more. Could it be that I can't stop you? The heavenly Grandmaster roared. His tattered body burned, and his heavenly Grandmaster immortal power shook as he constructed a layout that connected the heavens and the earth. Moreover, as the grand and vast road of immortal ascension appeared, his aura was extremely violent. Rumble. This was a huge collision. The two figures collided, and their ferocious combat strength was fully utilized, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to rend. The heavenly Grandmaster Young Master couldn't possibly retreat, and he would definitely fight with his life on the line. Otherwise, there would be no Emperor's Road of immortal ascension. Kill! The two experts roared one after another, and each of their fists drew blood. This was a world-shaking collision. The young Supreme Being was fighting with his life on the line, and his strongest combat strength was released. The spreading divine power had already caused the universe to boil, and the energy ripples shot into the heavens. Su Yan's black hair danced wildly, and his eyes were like lightning. So what if he had the heavenly Grandmaster immortal physique in a life-risking state? 3 consecutive punches exploded, and the energy matter that filled the sky exploded. He was too valiant, and the smell of blood surged. He circulated the most terrifying power and attacked forward. Young Master, the group of girls turned pale. The heavenly Grandmaster was coughing up blood from the Devil King's attacks, and his body was about to fly out. He was no match for Su Yin at all. This was a suppression in terms of strength. Su Yin once again unleashed a fist imprint. It was majestic beyond compare, and it was as if the universe was howling as it charged forward in an instant. It's like this again. Everyone present was shocked. The heavenly Grandmaster was heavily injured again, and his body was about to explode. The scene was too bloody. This was an invincible physique, but the young Devil King continued to unleash his power. Under the gazes of tens of thousands of people, Su Yin had a terrifying demonic nature at this moment. There was a kind of aura that could swallow the universe, and it leaked out of his body. Anyone could capture this kind of invincible conviction. It was too terrifying. His majestic posture was especially lofty. His hair danced in the wind, and his eyes were cold, as well as his lofty aspirations that could swallow the heavens. Heavenly Grandmaster Brat, you're finished. A cold voice exploded. That majestic figure charged forward. He was too tyrannical, and he didn't fear the Heavenly Grandmaster at all. His fist soared into the sky, and the ominous light was so dazzling that it almost made people's eyes bleed. The universe fist was unleashed, and Su Yan's essence, energy, and spirit devoured the Heavenly Grandmaster's tattered body. Someone saw him explode. He was directly destroyed by Su Yan's fist, and there was nothing left of him. This scene shocked everyone. The Heavenly Grandmaster was dead. He was directly killed by the young Devil King. Could it be that one of the three heroes of the monarch ranking died just like that? Just like that, he was on his way. Roar. All of a sudden, a deep roar exploded. The bout-sized aura went berserk, and a true dragon roared from its back. It wanted to rush out and block the great danger for Su Yan. Very few people noticed that a strange change had occurred. The Heavenly Grandmaster's flesh shell had mysteriously disappeared, and when he reappeared, a terrifying space-time aura reversed, as if it was going to shatter everything. Heavens! Someone cried out in shock. The Heavenly Grandmaster had mysteriously appeared behind Su Yan. He didn't seem to be injured at all, and he directly waved his hand, striking at Su Yan's flesh shell. How'd he do it? He was clearly heavily injured by Su Yan just now. So how did he appear here? Su Yan was caught off guard. He was facing the Heavenly Grandmaster. Waves of supreme battle strength pressed down on his flesh shell, and Su Yan's back was about to collapse. He roared, and his body turned. Thick blood essence light spewed out of his pores to resist the suppression of the palm force. His body also moved horizontally to avoid this terrifying palm strike. Even so, a few of Su Yan's ribs were still broken. However, he managed to avoid a fatal blow. Gee, the next moment, the scene was a little scary. The Heavenly Grandmaster's halberd, which was trapped by the roaming dragon's silver sky sword, shone brightly and forcefully tore through the sword formation. The peerless halberd spewed out sharp light and slashed at Su Yan. Bastard! Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. The silver dragon sword was about to be destroyed. The halberd's killing intent was shocking, and it cut through the entire space-time. It was going to shatter Su Yan's body. He instantly took out his tattered great solar realm and collided with the Heavenly Grandmaster's halberd. Young Devil King, you're the one dying now. It was also at this time that the Heavenly Grandmaster's young master rushed over. His figure was especially majestic, as if he had merged with the great Tao of heaven and earth, turning into a carrier of space-time. He surged with terrifying power and attacked Su Yan. I understand. This is the space-time reversal art, someone exclaimed, having seen through the clues. So, it's this secret art. Many people's hearts trembled. This was Old Man Tongtian's ultimate art, the space-time reversal art. Legend had it that when Old Man Tongtian became a progenitor, he created an extremely powerful divine ability called the space-time reversal art. It was obvious that the Heavenly Grandmaster's young master had relied on the space-time reversal art to rewrite space-time. It was very strange, as if time had returned to the past. Kill! Roared the Heavenly Grandmaster's young master. He knew very well that the space-time reversal art couldn't be maintained for too long. Once the time was up, he would be beaten back to his original state. It might even worsen his injuries. He had to get rid of this great enemy. In the state of the space-time reversal art, the Heavenly Grandmaster's combat power surged. This could be said to be a forbidden secret art. The majestic Heavenly Grandmaster's aura filled the sky with the power of space-time, and the killing intent evolved to the extreme. He seemed to have cut off the space-time of the heavens. The moment he attacked, Su Yan looked extremely dim. Suppress. The supreme attack covered the sky and the sun. It was like a prosperous corner of the universe was pressing down, destroying everything. Even Su Yan was about to be smashed to pieces. Roar! Su Yan's messy hair tore the void. His entire flesh shell boiled with the power of the Kun Peng. You can't do it. I'll kill you even if I have to give up everything," roared the Heavenly Grandmaster's young master. His origin immortal power was burning, evolving into all kinds of divine abilities, causing the Heavenly Grandmaster's space-time domain to become even more majestic. It was as if 33 heavens had descended, suppressing Su Yan with the momentum of Mount Tai. Su Yan's body looked a little scary. His pores spewed out the light of reincarnation, affecting the universe. Reincarnation, great Tao. The reincarnated body's expression changed drastically. How did he master it? "You have no chance," Su Yan shouted coldly. His left hand evolved the reincarnation great Tao, and his right hand evolved the heavenly power of the Kuan Peng. The two shocking ultimate arts exploded, causing Su Yan's aura to be terrifying. It shattered the entire ground, and countless cracks appeared in the sky. So what if it was the Heavenly Grandmaster's space-time? The Kuan Peng and reincarnation erupted. Su Yan was like a heaven-splitting overlord, controlling reincarnation and carrying the Kuan Peng on his back. "Kill!" His roar exploded. This space-time that was cut off was blown apart. The sky was filled with energy, and it was difficult to see the specific scene clearly. But in the broken world, blood splattered. The reincarnation power hit the Heavenly Grandmaster's body, directly knocking him back to his original form. He, who was seriously injured, was in despair. The Kuan Peng's figure enlarged in his eyes. He frantically dodged, but half of his body was still crushed and exploded. Su Yan came. He was extremely cold. His blood-stained hair danced in the wind as he stepped on the Heavenly Grandmaster's broken body. "You've provoked me time and time again. You just SOSO." Su Yan's expression was cold as he looked down at the Heavenly Grandmaster. The cold aura he emitted was terrifying. Chapter 16:28. The bloody scene was too horrible to look at. The Tongtian young master, who had the potential to become the top 3 on the monarch ranking in the future, was now beaten to a pulp and stepped on by Su Yan. Everyone was dumbfounded, not knowing what to say. All this time, the Tongtian young master had been looking for Su Yan, wanting to suppress him. But now, the outcome was cruel. He was trampled under Su Yan's feet. This is too cruel. Only those who stand on the monarch ranking can be called the top of the monarch ranking. The saints of the major sects were trembling in fear. He was the personal disciple of the Tongtian old man, the Tongtian immortal physique, one of the strongest physiques in his generation. Now, he was defeated and even had half of his body destroyed. Su Yan was powerful and exuded a spirit that could swallow mountains and rivers, intimidating everyone. Is the Demon King invincible? The underworld's Yin Juanhao was suppressed by him. The Xian people's Xian Kuei died tragically, and now the Tongtian young master is being suppressed by Su Yan. Is he really invincible? Someone said with a trembling voice as he recalled Su Yan's glorious achievements. His growth was terrifying, and every time he rose, he would step on the successors of the major sections. It was a shocking scene. One after another, his enemies were killed. The world originally thought that the young Demon King was qualified to be in the top 10 of the monarch ranking in the future. Now, it seemed that he was qualified to compete for the top 3 on the monarch ranking in the future. The competition on the monarch ranking was extremely cruel. No one could say for sure who would stand on the top of the monarch ranking until the final moment. In short, the Tongtian young master, who had endless potential, was facing death. The Tongtian young master roared in grief. This situation was too humiliating for him, and it was enough to drive him crazy. How could he, who was high above, admit defeat so easily? His whole body was trembling, and his murderous intent surged with terrifying radiance. There was no doubt that he was not dead yet. One could not help but admire the tenacity of the Tongtian immortal physique. Even in a broken state, there was still a large amount of divine power stored in his body. He tried to resist, but it was useless. His whole body was stepped on by Su Yan. No matter how he struggled, his injuries only worsened. His broken body was covered in cracks, and if it was not for the Daluo battle armor, it would have exploded. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying soul aura bloomed. The entire heaven and earth rumbled on their own, and the universe was about to be turned upside down. Symbols of the great Tao appeared on their own, and it was as if the source of the universe had been activated, and it was about to descend with the strongest killing intent. A strange silver stone flew out from young Master Tongtian's forehead. It was dazzling and blazing, scattering space-time light rain. In an instant, it seemed to have turned into a terrifying space-time universe, steaming with the traces of the great Tao of space-time. Space-time Tao Stone. Many people were horrified. This was a supreme treasure that was hard to find throughout the world, one that contained the great Tao of time and space. This thing could even be directly refined into a supreme being weapon. This space-time Tao Stone was located in the young master's sea of consciousness. Everyone was amazed by old man Tongtian's love for him. The Tongtian Great Halberd and the space-time Tao Stone were treasures that were hard to find in the world. Who would have thought that they would be gathered on him alone? Young Devil King, give me your life. The primordial spirit of the Tongtian young master roared. He stood on the space-time Tao Stone, and his entire primordial spirit was bathed in space-time radiance. His terrifying aura was enough to tear apart the heavens and split the seas. Crack! The sudden aura was too fast, and it pressed down on Su Yan's forehead until it cracked. This was a fatal threat. Young Master Tongtian's primordial spirit stood on the space-time Tao Stone and rammed towards Su Yan's forehead. He wanted to break through his sea of consciousness and turn the tables. This was his final trump card. His primordial spirit emitted madness and decisiveness. Could it be that even this strength couldn't kill Su Yan? Boom! The space-time light rain that filled the sky was about to penetrate Su Yan's sea of consciousness. Su Yan's primordial spirit instantly surged with blazing heat. He chanted the Mother Sutra of heaven and earth and spewed out the essence of the sun, filled with supreme divine might. What is this? Young Master Tongtian was terrified. Even with the protection of the space-time Tao Stone, the primordial spirit light from the Sun Mother Sutra was too shocking. Mother Chi vaguely leaked out, enveloping the words of the Sun Mother Sutra, filling with boundless might. One had to know that Su Yan's primordial spirit stood at the peak of the true immortal realm. Once it was awakened, it would be like the resurrection of the sun. Yang Qi would be at its peak, and its might would shake the universe. Mother Sutra, it's the Sun Mother Sutra. Young Master Tongtian was about to go crazy. Why was it like this? Why did Su Yan have the lost Mother Sutra? This was a supreme sutra that even primogenitor experts valued. Su Yan actually had it, and his primordial spirit stood at its peak state, spewing out sutra words from his mouth and nose, sealing heaven and earth. Kill! Su Yan's primordial spirit roared. Taking advantage of the Tongtian young master's absent-minded state, his soul body charged forward. Just by relying on his blazing yang qi, he had already burned the Tongtian young master's primordial spirit to the brink of turning into ashes. No! He screamed as his primordial spirit fell from the space-time Tao Stone. The vast sunlight filled the sky, filling every inch of space-time. In the process, young Master Tongtian's primordial spirit was shattering. Who is it that dares to make things difficult for my disciple? No mercy. Suddenly, a majestic voice exploded, shaking the entire world. At the same time, a skinny figure stood in the void, protecting young Master Tongtian's primordial spirit that was about to shatter. Although he didn't spread out a strong aura, his divine aura alone was enough to make even the heavens tremble. Old man Tongtian. Everyone present was terrified. Reincarnation bodies and the others turned pale as they retreated, leaving this place. Fan Jian sucked in a breath of cold air. This was a legendary giant, the high and mighty old man Tongtian. Even the immortal sex didn't dare to provoke him. Now that his incarnation had appeared, his divine aura was shocking, bringing with it an unparalleled sense of oppression. Is it you? Old man Tongtian's incarnation was relatively blurry. His Tao voice was like an ocean of laws bombarding the heavens. In his cold eyes, galaxies were disappearing, space-time light rain poured down, and supreme Tao runes danced in the sky, staring at Su Yan. Almost in an instant, Su Yan's mind almost lost control and was about to sink into the destruction of space and time. He was shocked. This old thing was too frightening. One look from him was enough to make his Tao heart sink. This was only an incarnation. If his real body came, who knew how terrifying it would be? Master, kill him quickly. Young Master Tongtian's remnant soul was agitated. His words caused endless killing intent to rise in Su Yan's heart. Both of them wanted to kill young Master Tongtian, but this old thing was too much of a threat to Su Yan. He felt that this old thing could kill him 10,000 times in an instant. This was an invincible giant. Even Yin Emperor was only a junior in front of old man Tongtian. Attack quickly. At this time, Enji transmitted. This is also the space-time reversal art, but it needs a certain amount of time to let old man Tongtian's incarnation recover some fighting strength. Enji called him Old Man Tongtian, which showed how much she hated him. Su Yan didn't hesitate. In an instant, he moved. His physical body and primordial spirit merged, and his aura was terrifying as he attacked young Master Tongtian's remnant soul. Crazy. The experts in the distant world were shocked. Had the young Devil King gone crazy? He dared to attack even under such circumstances. What would happen if he angered old man Tongtian? Su Yan had already forced young Master Tongtian to this point. In any case, he had to be killed, or there would be endless trouble in the future. Old man Tongtian's eyes were cold. Although his incarnation's aura was relatively weak, what was Su Yan in his eyes? Just a little bit of recovery could cause the heavens to collapse and the earth to rend. Although he didn't have much energy now, his Tao was heaven-reaching. This kind of person could cause space-time to collapse with a single thought. Quick, I'll stop him. Baokai rushed over in an instant, its carapace overflowing with true dragon light. 9 heads attacked old man Tongtian in succession. Young Devil King, you dare kill me? Young Master Tongtian trembled in fear. Su Yan had already arrived in front of him and swung his fist at old man Tongtian's remnant soul. He was extremely fearful, but at the same time, he was also extremely decisive. He knew that as long as he could hold on for a bit longer, he would be able to survive and even kill everyone present. Space-time reversal technique. This shocking secret technique was unleashed once again, and old man Tongtian's remnant soul disappeared in a blur. This technique was extremely strange. Although its effects were heaven-defying, it couldn't be used too many times. Otherwise, one wouldn't even know how they died. But old man Tongtian didn't care about so much. Preserving his life was more important. I'm still alive. Old man Tongtian was extremely excited. His remnant soul returned to his carapace, and his injuries improved greatly. He immediately grasped the heaven-connecting halberd and defended himself against Su Yan's attacks until old man Tongtian recovered his strength. Boom! Something strange happened. The heaven-connecting halberd trembled violently and cracked open the back of old man Tongtian's hand. Ah! He cried out in pain. He was already severely injured, and now that he suffered a backlash from his life treasure, his eyes turned black. When he woke up, old man Tongtian was in despair. Su Yan was standing in front of him, and he was even holding the heaven-connecting halberd with one hand. It's you. Old man Tongtian's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets as he pointed at Su Yan, his chest heaving violently. He tried to summon the heaven-connecting halberd, but he found that it was difficult to recall it. This treasure that had been nurtured for 1,000,000 years had fallen into Su Yan's hands just like that. Why? He was coughing up blood. He was so angry that he was about to explode. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with rage. He wanted nothing more than to eat Su Yan alive. This was a treasure nurtured by the immortal weapon tree. Stop! Old man Tongtian was furious. His roar was like the sea, shaking the bout-sized body until it couldn't hold on any longer. He was furious. He originally needed a few breaths to recover, but who would have thought that Su Yan would use such a short time to heavily injure old man Tongtian again? Kill! Su Yin roared. He waved the broken silver dragon sword and stabbed it at Old Man Tongtian's primordial spirit with immortal slaying sword. Stop! Old Man Tongtian's eyes widened. The sun and moon in his eyes withered, and time and space were destroyed. He said angrily, "Leave his primordial spirit, and I won't kill you. Otherwise, I'll wipe out your entire family. Young Devil King, don't make a mistake. You can't bear my master's anger." Old Man Tongtian screamed in despair and brought out his life-saving straw. Su Yin didn't hesitate at all. The silver dragon sword unleashed the immortal slaying sword's aura and tore his sea of consciousness apart. The terrifying immortal slaying sword slashed his primordial spirit. Old Man Tongtian's primordial spirit was shattered without even a sound. Yuan's breathing was heavy, and a smile appeared on his face as if he had been entrusted with a heavy burden. He had finally killed Old Man Tongtian. In the future, Su Yin would have one less powerful enemy in the Emperor Road battle. Wipe out my entire family. Su Yin stared coldly at Old Man Tongtian and said, "Do you think you're the ruler of the Emperor Road?" He knew that this matter wouldn't end well. Old Man Tongtian's incarnation was exceptionally powerful. It wouldn't be easy to deal with him. Suddenly, Su Yin thought of Dao Shui. She said that he could use her name when he was in danger. Would that really be enough to suppress Old Man Tongtian? Fairy Shui is coming. I need to update. Chapter 1629. The Tongtian young master has been killed. The top 100 competition hasn't even started and he's already dead. Isn't this too ridiculous? Countless people trembled as their limbs went soft. Some of them were trembling uncontrollably. They were really shocked. This ruthless person had killed the Tongtian young master in front of Old Man Tongtian, leaving no room for negotiation. Young Chilling of the Young family felt her hair stand on end. This stunning beauty was also terrified. Similarly, the grudge between Su Yin and Old Man Tongtian could not be resolved. So what if he was killed? But could the young Devil King withstand Old Man Tongtian's fury? Although it was only his incarnation, the flames of fury that were being emitted at this moment darkened the sky. His snow-white hair danced in the wind as his eyes were filled with bone-chilling cold. He was the only supreme being in this world, like the only god. This old man will most likely go crazy. The Grand Saintess thought to herself. The disciple she was so proud of, the Tongtian young master, who was qualified to fight for the top 3 spots on the Emperor board, had perished in the Emperor Road battlefield before the top 100 tournament had even started. If this news were to spread, the whole world would tremble. At the same time, it also indicated the rise of Su Yin, the Devil King, and that he would have a place in the Emperor Road in the future. Large groups of experts began to retreat, their hearts filled with panic. Old Man Heavenspan's incarnation was growing stronger and stronger, and the starry sky began to tremble. It was as if a sleeping, invincible titan was about to unleash his wrath and destroy heaven and earth. Ah! He let out a roar as the ground sank and countless large cracks appeared in the sky. The world was heading towards destruction. Old Man Tongtian's lungs were about to explode as his hair danced in the wind. His eyes were filled with killing intent. He was so angry that his soul light was trembling. In his extreme state of anger, his incarnation released a terrifying giant aura that swept across the world. Puffed, tight bout-sized body, which was as hard as divine iron, trembled violently. It was dizzy from the shock as blood flowed from its mouth and nose. This old man is crazy. Tai Baokai shouted and retreated quickly. It could not withstand Old Man Tongtian's killing intent at all. From this moment on, anyone could feel a killing intent that could slaughter billions of lives with a single thought. Once a powerhouse was enraged, a sea of blood would flow. If this happened in the outside world, the living beings of an entire continent would most likely be slaughtered. Moreover, Old Man Tongtian had been famous for a long time. His status was even more intimidating than the sect masters of the various immortal sections. He was on the same level as the patriarchs of the various clans. Kill, kill, kill. Old Man Heavenspan roared. looking like an ancient devil who had just emerged from hell. His killing intent was so intense that space-time was dyed the color of blood. In a short period of time, his aura was terrifying to the extreme. In this state, this small world exploded. Yuan and the others were all sent flying. Even if the old man Tongtian's clone can sneak into the Emperor Road, there's no need for him to be this strong. Is there? Fan Jian was astonished. This situation was somewhat similar to that of the Xian people's sect master. However, the incarnation of such a person couldn't possibly be too strong. The current state of Old Man Tongtian made their hair stand on end. Of course, this was also related to the unique layout of the Golden Treasury. The space-time reversal secret technique is extremely heaven-defying. At this moment, Ji clenched her fists. The beautiful golden maiden, whose golden hair reached her waist, said in a low voice, "Although it's only an illusory incarnation, it can use this secret technique to gain some power for a short period of time." Suyan's heart tightened. The power of such a giant was not something they could withstand, even if it was just a small amount. "All of you deserve to die." Old Man Tongtian roared into the sky. "Cutting you into pieces is not enough to appease my hatred. I'll extract your souls and torture you in purgatory for thousands of years. I'll let you taste all the torture in the world." His pupils were sinister to the extreme, terrifying. His heart and soul. Little B asterisk starred. He stared at Su Yan with a piercing gaze and said coldly, "Crawl over here and kowtow to me. Pay for my dead disciple with your life." He's stalling for time. The more time we give him, the stronger his aura will become. Ji spoke again. "If we can't kill his incarnation before that, we'll find a way to leave this place and return to the Emperor Road. Then let's kill him first." Su Yan's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He suddenly attacked, his blood-stained figure like a terrifying star, rushing toward Old Man Tongtian at an extremely fast speed. "Kill!" Su Yan let out a loud roar. His black hair danced, and his fists exploded at the same time, stirring up a monstrous storm accompanied by the roar of a heavenly beast. This was Su Yan's strongest strength. The heavenly beast glove was also activated to its limit. His fists and the heavenly beast body were like two ancient mountains bombarding forward. The scene was horrifying. The sky was filled with destructive storms, and they were all aimed at Old Man Tongtian. Whoosh! The five-sword embryos on Fairy Zixia's back unsheathed, slashing out 5 streaks of chaotic sword light. Each of them was incomparably powerful and could easily cut apart the body of a powerful cultivator. With a rumble, they charged forward, slashing toward Old Man Tongtian. Yuan and the others also did their best to recover. One after another, the young powerhouses unleashed their strongest attacks. One could imagine how terrifying the energy storm was. Boom! Time and space exploded, and the power of slaughter filled the air, creating a scene of utter destruction that engulfed Old Man Heavenspan. It was as if he was going to be killed in a single blow. Have they gone mad? The powerhouses far away from the battlefield were frightened. The young Devil King and a group of powerhouses had joined forces to attack Old Man Tongtian. This attack was shocking. Everything in the direction of the source was trembling, and everything began to be destroyed. Even the entire starry sky exploded. Ants, smelly bugs, trash. This was Old Man Heavenspan's evaluation of them, his contempt for them. He viewed them as the most lowly of creatures, callous and emotionless. This was what it meant to be a hegemon, someone who didn't belong to their domain and viewed everyone else as ants. Boom! With a loud explosion, the destructive killing power in the sky collapsed in an instant. Heavens, this is a giant. Even if it's just a little power, it's enough to be invincible. The reincarnated body was shocked. He was about to descend the mountain when he turned back to look. He saw Old Man Tongtian's incarnation was terrifying. It was like a carrier of the time and space immortal path, a supreme deity. It forcibly destroyed the killing order in the sky. At the same time, his aura strengthened greatly. It was like a time and space beast was howling. As he breathed, the vast world darkened. Endless amounts of heaven and earth essence were being extracted by him to replenish the weakening of his incarnation. The scene was too terrifying. The world was under his feet, trembling. "This old thing is terrifying," Baokai exclaimed. They were not on the same level. Even if they were standing at the peak of the true immortal realm, they could not stop Old Man Tongtian. Just the order and rule that emanated from him was enough to cruelly suppress them. "Attack!" Su Yin let out a long howl and threw out the 9 continents' heavenly cauldrons. "Attack! Kill him!" At the same time, Fan Jian and the others roared. Beams of essence blood shot out from the top of their heads and penetrated the 9 continents' heavenly cauldrons. This cauldron was changing. It was many times more majestic. Although it looked slightly damaged, the energy substances radiating from it were like 9 majestic continents lying here. This was the most powerful treasure that was reviving. In the process, it had almost drained the divine power in their bodies. The terrifying killing weapon was revived. It crushed the entire time and space. Its aura swept through the entire Black Sea region, causing all living beings in the universe to tremble. They felt as if the entire Golden Sea region was collapsing. Su Yin withstood the terrifying recoil and threw the 9 continents' heavenly cauldrons to suppress Old Man Tongtian. The entire land exploded. This ancient immortal island seemed to be sinking along with it. Under the pressure of the cauldron, all directions trembled. The aura of Old Man Tongtian was shattered. Under the cauldron, the terrifying creature exploded. It was destroyed in both body and spirit by the 9 continents' heavenly cauldron's supreme suppressive force. "It's dead." Su Yin and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Their breathing was heavy, but there was excitement in their eyes. This was an invincible giant. Now, it was scattered by the 9 continents' heavenly cauldrons. Although it was only an incarnation, it was still impressive. "It's not that simple." Yin Ji's expression was cold. Old Man Tongtian's incarnation was indeed destroyed. However, the sky was affected by the time and space light rain. The scene in front of them seemed to be in the process of being frozen. "Oh no!" Su Yan's heart trembled. In the frozen time and space scene, the exploded incarnation was being reconstructed. "Ha ha!" Laughter exploded. It was very cold. Old Man Tongtian's incarnation seemed to be reconstructed from the destroyed time and space. He walked out step by step, and a terrifying aura surged out, causing the world to collapse. 9 continents' heavenly cauldrons, ha ha! Old Man Tongtian was laughing, but his eyes were very cold. It was like a cold light shooting out of hell. He said coldly, "A bunch of trash. Why do you have to control it? You can't even use its order laws. Why do you have to control it?" The 9 continents' heavenly cauldrons was the strongest treasure. No one would doubt its power. However, with Su Yin and the others' condition, they couldn't use the 9 continents' heavenly cauldrons' laws and order. That was because that was the strongest state of the 9 continents' heavenly cauldrons. They could revive the 9 continents' heavenly cauldrons with energy alone, but they couldn't use the treasure's strongest power. Otherwise, they could directly destroy Old Man Tongtian's incarnation. He kept saying trash and bugs. Su Yin was furious. He said, "Old thing, how many times can you recover? Even if we have to sacrifice our lives, we'll kill your incarnation. I'm afraid you won't have a chance." Old Man Tongtian looked at him with pity. He said, "I've said it before. I'm going to kill your whole family. Then I'll start with you. After I kill you, I'll slaughter your clan, including everyone related to you. They'll all die. They'll all pay with their lives." "Dao Shui," he said, "he's going to kill you." Suddenly, Su Yin looked up to the sky and roared. He finally decided to use her name. The current situation wasn't something Su Yin could deal with. He had to use Dao Shui. "Haha, you're still counting on others to protect you. Kid, you're dreaming. I said I'm going to kill your whole family. I'll let you see with your own eyes the consequences of angering me. You're worse than a maggot in a cesspool." Old Man Tongtian closed in step by step. His words were very unpleasant. The fall of young Master Tongtian was a big blow to him. "This old thing." Fairy Xixia's face was red. She said to Su Yin, "Do you need help?" I should be able to kill him. Su Yin was shocked. She had the mysterious skeleton's means. However, Fairy Zixia was the only direct disciple of the mysterious skeleton. It wasn't surprising that she had a trump card. He really didn't know how terrifying the mysterious skeleton's trump card was. Suddenly, Su Yin saw a figure appear. Her sleeves were fluttering. She was beautiful and peerless. She walked along the space-time path. Not now. Su Yin muttered to himself. She really appeared. He looked up to the sky and roared. The Dao Shui really came, begging for monthly votes to pave the way for the Dao Shui. Kill Old Man Tong Tian. Kill his real body. I recommend a new book by Good Brother. It's a famous chef in the country. The author is Brother Pipe Pipe. Chapter 1630. A beautiful figure appeared out of thin air, her sleeves fluttering in the wind. It was as if a real fairy had descended from the heavens, following the long river of time and space. Although she was coming from afar and was about to reach them, she still gave off the impression that she was far away from them. Her aura was not terrifying, but it was peerless and mysterious. Step by step, she walked towards the old man Tong Tian. Fairy Zixia was a little dazed. She looked at her with her black gemstone eyes. Dao Shui was peerless. She was indeed a fairy, pure and untainted, with a thick mystery of the great path. Su Yan's heart raced. He did not expect the Dao Shui to appear. Could it be that she just shouted in the Emperor Road and the Dao Shui would appear? Su Yan thought so. The woman was mysterious and had a unique temperament. Her sleeves fluttered in the wind. She was also as calm as water. Her silky hair danced in the wind. Her skin was as smooth as ice, and her bones were as fair as jade. Fan Jian and the others were shocked. Where did she come from? She was too mysterious and shocking. Could she be related to the Emperor Road? The old man Tong Tian sneered. His eyes were cold as he stared at the Dao Shui. How dare you stand in my way? Do you know who I am? Although this woman also gave the old man Tong Tian a sense of mystery, he was the primogenitor of the immortal celestial domain. He was not afraid of anyone in the world. Even if the primogenitor of a great sect was here, he would not be afraid. Old man, don't think too highly of yourself. Don't think that everyone in the world has to give in to you. Su Yin rebuked angrily. The Emperor Road has its own rules. I killed your disciple because his cultivation was not up to par. Now you're here to pick on me. Where is your dignity as a strong person? Bao Kai suddenly had an idea. He immediately scolded. This green-haired tortoise must be used to being arrogant. He doesn't care about anyone. If this was the era of the Celestial Court, who do you think you are? You won't dare to break the rules of the Emperor Road, even if you have 100 guts. Too trash. Old man Tong Tian was so furious that his lungs were about to explode. What kind of existence was he? Now that Su Yin and Bao Kai were cursing at him, it was like slapping his old face with the sole of his shoe. His eyes were bloodshot as he said ferociously, "Winner takes all. The Celestial Court has been destroyed since ancient times. Today, I will teach you a good lesson. What are the rules? Who are the rules?" A terrifying aura erupted, its majestic atmosphere reaching the heavens. It was truly the most powerful and the most tyrannical. Although it was merely an incarnation, the moment its aura was fully revived, the entire immortal island began to tremble. The vast black ocean was about to collapse. Boom! His aura had completely changed. His body towered into the starry sky of the universe. He was indomitable, and as he howled, the heavens shook and the earth trembled. The stars in the universe that filled the sky trembled and exploded. This old fellow is too strong. Will that fairy Su Yin be able to withstand him? Bao Cai's hair stood on end. This was a legendary primogeniture expert. Although it was merely an incarnation, it still possessed some of the strength of his main body. Its divine might was vast and could shake the heavens and the earth. Su Yin really didn't know how strong the Dao Shui was, but since she had appeared here, she was definitely not a simple character. Scram! Old man Tong Tian let out a furious roar when he saw the Dao scripture instrument casually walking toward him. The laws and orders that surged out from his body lined up in a myriad of arrays. forming a vast ocean of laws that surged toward the Tao scripture instrument. Boom! Almost at the same time, the resonance of the great Tao of heaven and earth was released. The Tao Shui had immortal skin and jade bones. Her steps were light and agile, as if she had crossed the sea of chaos and walked on the path of creation. Along the way, chaos green lotuses were everywhere. The sun, moon, and stars were arranged, and the golden path extended, accompanied by vast and mighty purple clouds and auspicious clouds. This was an extremely sacred and solemn scene, as if an invincible being was traveling. The golden path also seemed to have covered the land from ancient times to the present, suppressing everything. No matter how powerful the laws that Old Man Tongtian emitted were, they could not stop the Tao Shui's footsteps. This scene surprised Su Yin. The Tao Shui was indeed extraordinary. She might be closely related to the Emperor Road. At this moment, Su Yin even suspected that the Tao Shui might be the guardian of the Emperor Road. Or her identity. Who are you? Old Man Tongtian's expression was serious as he looked at the mysterious woman walking toward him. He felt threatened and mysterious. Unfortunately, he was just an incarnation and could not see through the Tao Shui's actual strength. At this moment, the Tao Shui was already standing in front of Old Man Tongtian. She said calmly, "You said that you want to destroy his entire family?" Old Man Tongtian, was not afraid of her. He smiled eerily and said, "That's right. I said that. Not only will I destroy his entire family, but I will also kill everyone related to him. No one will be spared." Before he could finish, Old Man Tongtian's vision blurred, and his face hurt. A wide sleeve floated down, revealing his snow-white, jade-like hand that firmly slapped Old Man Tongtian's face. The slap was so loud that Old Man Tongtian spun 3 times on the spot. Then, half of his face trembled. Although it was just an incarnation, it was as if he was made of flesh and blood. Half of his face caved in, and there was a bloody palm print on it. Fan Jian was dumbfounded. He really wanted to prostrate himself in front of the Tao Shui and shout that this fairy was too mighty. Who was that? Old Man Tongtian was a primogeniture expert that even the immortal orthodoxies had to be wary of. Although Old Man Tongtian was not qualified to be compared to the Xian people's primogenitors, he was still a primogeniture expert. He was so powerful that he could look down on the undying heavenly region. No one dared to provoke such a loner. What's more, he was slapped in the face in front of everyone. Yi Yuan and the others were shocked. This was too domineering. Slapping his face was no different from slapping his body. Old Man Tongtian's head was buzzing. He could not react. Finally, his eyes widened in anger. The nomological aura of his incarnation was released, and he was about to enter his strongest state. "Ah, kill!" He roared as if he had gone mad. Heaven and earth exploded as he charged toward the Tao Shui. Smack! All of a sudden, as if the chaotic space and time were about to explode, the snow-white hand from the wide sleeve slapped the other half of Old Man Tongtian's old face hard again, making his head buzz again. Su Yin was stunned. His eyes widened. Bao Kai did not even dare to breathe loudly. This was too awesome. Using both hands, he imprinted 2 well-proportioned handprints on his face. Take back what you just said. In this world, no one has the right to do this. Tao Shui said calmly. Her figure stood in the void. A cool breeze blew, and her robe fluttered. It also outlined her impressive figure. Her elegance was unparalleled. She was too dazzling and brilliant. She was like the divine moon of the great path hanging above the 9 heavens. Her beauty was unparalleled. Junior, you've gone too far. If my body was here, no one would dare to stop me from killing. Old Man Tongtian's eyes were about to burst. His snow-white hair danced. His entire being was like an ancient demon of time and space. A green stone bridge that spanned billions of dimensions appeared behind him. It was wrapped in a terrifying pressure of time. Although he was in a pitiful state at this moment, he still had the dignity of a primogeniture. He looked down on the world and shouted at the Tao Shui. I understand now. You're from the Emperor Road, a remnant of the heavenly court. You can protect him for now, but you can't protect him forever. I'm going to kill him, and I'm going to wipe out every single one of his people within 100 million miles. Crackle. Suyin clenched his fists. His chest heaved violently. His emotions were about to explode. Venomous. Too venomous. This green-haired tortoise is too venomous. Bao Kai's huge claw pointed at Old Man Tong Tian as it growled. That old bastard is too venomous. Being targeted by him is more important than being targeted by billions of poisonous snakes. Fan Jian's heart was also cold. Old Man Tong Tian had been humiliated. He was slapped in the face in front of a group of juniors. Moreover, the person he faced was a young woman. How could he not be angry? How could he not be angry? Find a chance to raid his house and destroy his nest. Let this old bastard know how red the flowers are. Bao Kai said fiercely. This made Fan Jian's hair stand on end. He thought that this seemingly honest panda was too evil. Raid his house. Raid Old Man Tongtian's house. This guy was really daring. Yin Ji smiled bitterly. Only by crippling Old Man Tongtian would they have any hope of raiding his house. However, it had to be said that if a big shot like Old Man Tongtian could succeed in raiding his house, he would be a winner in life. Ignorant. Dao Shuyi's words were calm, simple, and clear. She would not say a word more. She waved her jade-like hand again and went up to slap him. She did not say anything unnecessary. Bastard. Old Man Tongtian let out a hysterical roar because Dao Shuyi's snow-white palms were slapping him in the face again and again. She was simply too fast. No matter how strong Old Man Tongtian was, he couldn't stop the Dao Shuyi at all. Junior, when my true body comes, I will kill you. Old Man Tongtian was so angry that his soul was shaking. His lungs were about to explode. He was so angry that he was humiliated. However, his words infuriated Dao Shuyi. In an instant, her sleeves became countless times more terrifying. It was as if an ancient universe was blooming. The chaos was surging like the sea, and the great Tao was boiling like the abyss. What is that? Su Yin and the others were dumbstruck. The wide sleeves seemed to have split open like the chaos sea. The chanting of sutras rolled. Billions of books were arranged in the air. It was as if they were chanting the complete great Tao of the heavens. It was also as if they were creating the great Tao of the heavens. It was an inconceivable scene. It was as if there was a world in one's sleeves. Just like that, it suppressed Old Man Tongtian. Ark. At this moment, Old Man Tongtian was trembling in fear. He lost control and screamed. He felt as if his soul was being suppressed, and he would fall into the great Tao's purgatory forever. This world was ridiculous. Billions of books were arranged and flipped. They revealed billions of holy immortals and devils. They occupied the universe and chanted the supreme heavenly voice of the great Tao. Emperor, he felt despair. He saw a figure. It was as if a slumbering emperor was awakening. Suddenly, that blurry and extremely terrifying figure reached out with a huge hand. With a rumble, it opened up the long river of time and space. It pressed down along the coordinates of the world behind him. This was truly covering the sky with a single hand. It covered everything. No. Old Man Tongtian was in despair and fear. He slapped his own mouth and said with a trembling voice, I was wrong. I take back my words. I won't do it again. He was truly frightened. In Dao Shuyi's sleeves, in the great Tao of the heavens, a supreme emperor was awakening. It reached out with a huge hand. It was going to follow the light of his soul and hit his true body. What kind of supreme technique was this? It was going to kill Old Man Tongtian's true body. Chapter 16:31. It was as if an invincible giant had struck out. A slumbering monarch had awakened, destined to shake the entire immortal heavenly domain. A terrifying change occurred. Even Old Man Tongtian's incarnation was destroyed, exploding into a rain of light. Of course, this was just the beginning. Dao Shuyi was furious, her eyes emitting cold intent. Millions upon millions of great Tao of slaughter filled the sky, turning the entire space into a purgatory of slaughter. In her wide sleeves, it was as if the sea of stars was buried. Countless Tao books appeared. Immortals and demons were born, chanting the great Tao of immortals. Finally, a terrifying figure was formed, like a slumbering monarch that was awakened on the path of reincarnation, like a war god that was revived from the ancient times. Boom! The long river of time and space collapsed. One tunnel after another appeared, as if passing through one era of the universe. Just like that, along a special path of time and space, it attacked the vast and boundless void. Heavens, what is happening? The void of time and space was cold and dry. One could never see the end of it, never able to study it, as if it was buried in an eternal time and space. The void was too vast and majestic. Even grand heavenly realm experts were insignificant in the void, as insignificant as dust. One could imagine how vast the void of time and space was. But now, at a certain location in the void, a huge energy explosion occurred, and a terrifying black hole appeared, its size shocking. The great stars that filled the sky were all destroyed. This area of nothingness collapsed and disintegrated. An astonishing explosion of energy occurred. In the vast void, a certain point exploded, immediately attracting the attention of a group of terrifying creatures. In the endless void, there were many shocking eyes that saw the destination. But it was difficult for them to see the essence of the scene. There seemed to be a fake, invincible figure that did not exist. It looked like a dream, but every pore was gushing out a terrifying great Tao order, sealing the heaven and earth. What kind of technique is that? A terrifying old monster was shocked. It seems to be a strength that surpasses the limit, another form of manifestation. There were also some old antiques who remained silent. The words "no emperor under the heavens" made their minds tremble, possessing a type of demonic nature. For creatures at their level, the effects were too great, as if an unmatched demonic voice was exploding in this world. Boom! Within the endless void of darkness, terrifying giants that could overlook all life awakened one after another. They erupted with ancient life force and released powerful fluctuations. They were all extremely terrifying and ridiculous. Burial ground. It's time for the great era to end. Among them, a powerful individual with a golden sword core on his back walked out. His body burst apart the void of darkness. His cold eyes clearly saw through the source of the aura. The majestic emperor's robe was like a shattered coffin in his eyes. It was trembling and would collapse sooner or later. The ancestor of the Xian people, who was known as the most terrifying expert in the undying heavenly domain, was ready to make a move. He let out a deep roar. "My time has come." It's Tong Er's aura. A tall old man with disheveled hair was flying toward the undying heavenly domain through the void. His eyes were focused on the source area. He thought of the dusty memories from a long time ago, but his soul felt a stabbing pain. Big Brother forcefully suppressed the wound in his soul. He could roughly grasp the approximate location of the reincarnation medicine. In the void of space that had exploded, a shocking ancient life planet was rotating. It was steaming with a vast amount of time and space. It was filled with eternal light. This ancient life planet was quite unique. It had always been the territory of Old Man Tong Tian. Now this ancient life planet was trembling violently. It was about to collapse in an instant. A large number of experts died tragically. Their bodies and souls were destroyed. Many of the experts in secluded meditation were nursing grievances. They didn't know what was happening, but they knew that it was the end of the universe. It was so sudden that the entire planet would be destroyed and the League of Heaven Span would be wiped out. Roar! Old Man Tong Tian's main body roared. A supreme crisis struck. His main body instantly became countless times more terrifying. His life force surged, shaking the void of space. It was so terrifying that it could drown the universe. But even so, he still encountered the trial of death. He vaguely saw the Supreme Emperor, occupying the space between heaven and earth, crowding the space-time continuum. He was like an invincible, immortal king among men. He was as tall as heaven and earth. He was unbelievably majestic. No, he felt fear and despair. Who was targeting him? In this era, why would there be such a power that surpassed the limit? This should not be. The great Tao was wailing. The universe was trembling. All matter was forcefully suppressed and dimmed to the extreme. There was no matter in this world that could stand next to this kind of person. No matter how strong old man Tong Tian was, he could only tremble and despair in the face of such a creature. He did not know who he had provoked. In short, his incarnation collapsed. No message was sent back. Master, Master, on this ancient life planet, some experts who were struggling at death's door screamed in despair. They saw old man Tong Tian's flesh shell cracking. It was as if an invincible expert was going to destroy him with a flick of his finger. Roar! Old man Tong Tian roared. His terrifying body collapsed. Thick blood spilled out and dyed heaven and earth red. Many ruined stars exploded. Just how astonishing was his cultivation. A single drop of blood could pierce through a great star in the cosmos. A single bone could crush a sea of stars. He was powerful to an inconceivable degree. Yet now, he had long encountered a great change. It was equivalent to the death of a primogenitor expert. If news of this spread, the entire world would be shaken. He, old man Tong Tian, was not the most powerful primogenitor. He could not be compared to the Xian people's primogenitors. But he was still powerful and had lived for millions of years. Old man Tong Tian was in a miserable state. His hair was disheveled, and his flesh was a mess. His flesh shell was about to explode. He had even used the sky bridge, but it was not one of the top 10 supreme treasures. Moreover, its main purpose was to travel through time and space. Its defensive power was not enough. The expert who attacked him did not say anything. He wanted to kill him directly. He felt despair. He would give up everything to avoid disaster. Finally, the ancient life planet collapsed. A cratered rock flew out from the ground. It spewed out the chi of heaven and earth and released the sound of the great Tao. It was filled with the terrifying aura of time. This was old man Tong Tian's most precious immortal material. It was a heaven and earth stone embryo. It had nurtured a large amount of chi. Its value was unimaginable. This was the supreme treasure he had prepared to use to live another life when his lifespan dried up. To old man Tong Tian, this thing was even more precious than the sky bridge. He entered the heaven and earth stone embryo. It was as if he had entered another world, isolated from the rest of the world. Chaos filled the sky, and the Tao was chaotic. But it could also be used to avoid disaster. What happened there? The void was too vast, but what happened here had already shaken the experts of the undying celestial domain. They were shocked and incredulous. What kind of existence had created a black hole in outer space? That aura appeared very quickly and disappeared just as quickly. The scene on planet Tong Tian was too horrible to look at. The number of survivors was limited. The Tong Tian lineage had suffered great losses. Even the powerful old man Tong Tian did not dare to come out of the heaven and earth stone embryo. He could only flee in fear. The scene returned to the sea of darkness and the peak of the sacred mountain. The terrifying aura continued to ripple, scaring away all the experts. Dao Shui felt that it was a pity. The other party had hidden himself, making it difficult to locate him. From this, one could see how precious the heaven and earth stone embryo was. Inside it, one could indeed avoid disaster. It was extremely rare and many times more powerful than Su Yan's 5 elements wondrous stone. That was old man Tong Tian's most precious treasure, hard to find. The young Devil King is a madman. He even dared to provoke old man Tong Tian's incarnation. His chances of survival are too slim. How can ordinary people judge a primogenitor's strength? Although the young Devil King is strong, provoking old man Tong Tian is the same as courting death. Large groups of experts retreated from the sea of darkness, not daring to stay a moment longer. The Nirvana elixir could only be a pity. At the same time, groups of experts charged toward the Golden River. Since the Black River had the Nirvana elixir and a series of inheritances, the Golden River must have some good stuff as well. Only, when this group of experts charged into the golden heavenly river, their faces all changed, becoming horrified. How can this be? The Xian people were mad. Furious, they couldn't believe their eyes. Yong Xiaoling was stunned. She recalled Bao Cai's words. Could it be that the Xian people's #1 paragon's current predicament was really caused by it? The scene in the Golden River exceeded everyone's expectations. Although there was also a land of fortune opening, there was a terrifying danger hidden in it. A sea of flames overflowed with yang energy. The temperature was blazing, burning the world until it was as black as ink. It burned the great Tao to the point that it didn't exist. This was the divine fire of the sun. It could burn the heavens and destroy the earth. It was densely covered in runes, and each flame contained a terrifying destructive power. The billowing sea of flames stretched across the Golden River. Amidst the billions of divine fire of the sun, a blurry figure was madly struggling. However, no matter how powerful the Xian people's #1 paragon was, he couldn't break out of the encirclement. The divine fire of the sun continued to burn his body. His flesh had long been charred black, and his qi and blood had dried up. Of course, if he hadn't worn the Xian people's legendary battle armor, he wouldn't have been able to survive until now. That's the Xian people's #1 paragon. If such an outstanding person dies, it will be a huge event that will shake the world. Countless people trembled. Was this person going to die in the ambush? The Xian people were strong since ancient times. They could be said to be one of the strongest races in the undying heavenly domain. They even had a legendary ancestor, and their name was known throughout the undying heavenly domain. Now, the strongest overlord of their race was trapped in the sea of flames. It was a bit ridiculous. After all, he had arrived at the golden waters earlier than the mysterious sky's saint. But now, it seemed that he was facing a desperate situation. How long could he last? Roar! The Xian people's #1 paragon roared. He didn't despair. His eyes were filled with coldness. Saint, please save our #1 paragon. The young kings of the Xian people were anxious. They asked the mysterious sky's saint for help, hoping that he could open the sea of flames and release the Xian people's #1 paragon from the ambush. Hearing this, the mysterious sky's saint's face was full of bitterness. He looked through the imperial sky Tao diagram and found that the sea of flames was too shocking. It was connected to the 9 heavens. This was an extremely terrifying sea of flames. Once trapped inside, even a true immortal of the great, all-embracing heaven would be burned to death. It was already a miracle that the Xian people's #1 paragon could survive until now. If he continued, he wouldn't be able to escape death. Unless your race can bring the most powerful treasure to open the ambush here, the mysterious sky's saint said in a low voice. The mysterious heaven's saint child said in a low voice. Otherwise, no one will be able to save him. Of course, even if the most powerful supreme treasure is used, it might not necessarily be able to break through. Perhaps your clan's execution immortal sword can directly hack open this place of death. The Xian people were in despair. The immortal slaying sword wasn't with the Xian people at all. The Xian people's ancestor had left the race for a long time. He had always been exploring the outside world, wandering in the void. He secretly excavated the incomplete universe, immemorial immortal medicines, and extinct inheritances to strengthen himself. It was really too difficult to find the Xian people's ancestor. Saint, at this moment, the group of experts from the mysterious sky sect who had returned from the Black Sea rushed up. The news they brought made the mysterious sky's saint's expression change. Grandmaster Skirich has fallen? He was aghast. One had to know that that was Grandmaster Skirich's immortal physique. He couldn't calm down, and only after confirming it again and again did he believe this cruel fact. The mysterious sky sect's people explained everything. The awakening of Grandmaster Skirich's incarnation made the mysterious sky's saint laugh. The heavens are really helping me. That year, the young Devil King suppressed the ancient Kuan Peng corpse. He definitely has the ancient celestial quartz treasure on him. Then it won't be that easy for Grandmaster Skirich to kill the young Devil King. Of course, the young Devil King will also suffer. Who will benefit from this fierce battle? Saint, what are you planning to do? The experts from Mysterious Sky Sect were shocked. Follow me immediately to the Black Sea. It's time to meet the young Devil King. The Mysterious Skies Saint's expression was ice cold. He controlled the Imperial Sky Tao diagram. Even if he couldn't suppress Su Yin, he believed that retreating wouldn't be a problem. Saint, you have to be careful. The Mysterious Sky Sect's disciples were terrified. They felt that the Saint was too daring. This is a heaven-sent opportunity. Of course, we have to grasp it. Otherwise, we'll regret it for life. The Mysterious Skies Saint was extremely decisive. He prepared to go and investigate. If he could seize the opportunity to suppress the young Devil King, it would be a glorious legend that would shake the world. Dajong Brothers, please support me with monthly votes. Chapter 1632. Goddess is mighty. Fan Jian and the others shouted excitedly on the mountain peak, where the shocking aura had yet to dissipate. Elder Tongtian's incarnation had exploded. He had died a miserable death. In this battle, young Master Tongtian had been killed. A future great enemy on the Emperor's Road had died. It was a significant event. At the same time, Su Yin had also taken away the great halberd nurtured by the immortal weapon tree. The snow-white great halberd emitted a cold light, and its sharp aura leaked out automatically. Ever since Su Yin held it, he had a feeling of flesh and blood connection. This was the origin energy of the mysterious yellow universe. It could also be said that the origin energy of the mysterious yellow universe was tempered into a supreme treasure embryo by a large amount of origin energy of the mysterious yellow universe of the Qian domain spacetime. After millions of years of nourishment and nurturing by the immortal weapon tree, the great halberd was finally formed. This treasure was powerful and shocking. The moment Su Yin held it, he felt like a tiger that had grown wings. He gently waved the great halberd in the void, and the void instantly collapsed, directly producing the space-time crack-slash. Fan Jian's eyes were red. This treasure's sharpness was too frightening. Now that Su Yin had obtained this weapon, his combat strength had skyrocketed. Good treasure, haha. Su Yin was excited. There was no need to mention the value of this great halberd. Its power was shocking enough. It could surge out a terrifying killing force at any time. It was equivalent to a supreme treasure raised by the heavens. Thank you for your help, Goddess Shui. At this time, Su Yin led the Yi Yuan and quickly approached Dao Shui. This legendary figure's origin was too mysterious. Perhaps she was the protector of the Emperor's Road. She must have a great connection with the Celestial Court. The previous battle zone was devastated. Dangerous auras were everywhere. It was like a broken small world. Dao Shui stood in the destroyed spacetime. Her sleeves fluttered. She was peerless and full of mythical charm. Her shiny black hair fell to her waist. She was like a fairy. Fairy Zixia was impressed by her temperament and elegance. She laughed and said, "Sister Fairy, my name is Zixia. A true immortal descended from the heavens and killed the incarnation of Old Man Heavenspan's green-furred turtle. This is truly world-shaking. Does Elder Sister Immortal need a mount? This humble one is at your service." Bao Kai had a simple and honest look on his face as he continued to flatter Jiang Yi. He had to befriend this immortal. Perhaps they could travel together and travel to the various domains of Emperor Road. Perhaps the entire world would be shaken, even in the undying heavenly region. The protectors of the Emperor Road did not exist in legends. It had once appeared to maintain a level playing field in the Emperor Road. Now that the Tao calligraphy instrument had appeared and stood here in its true form, it could be said that it was stunning. It's a pity that I didn't manage to kill his true body. Her words stunned Su Yin and the others. Could it be that Dao Shui had managed to threaten Old Man Tongtian's true body in the previous battle? His heart trembled as he recalled the battle of the eternal celestial Sunday. The ancient celestial emperors seemed to have penetrated into the world behind the destroyer with unparalleled divine might. The ancient celestial emperors were strong enough to look down on the heavens for all eternity. So how strong was the Dao Shui? Yin Ji's beautiful face turned pale. Could it be that Tongtian planet had undergone a great change? From what she knew, Old Man Tongtian had not left Tongtian planet for many years. If this mysterious giant was really trying to kill Old Man Tongtian's true body, then Tongtian planet must have undergone a great change. Immortal, you're so mighty that you've shocked the past, present, and future. Your powers are boundless. Immortal, please return to the Celestial Court and rebuild the ancient Celestial Court's divine might. We'll shock all the major immortal sects in the world. Immortal, the Celestial Court needs you. Yuan and the others shouted. They were eager for this immortal to return to the Celestial Court. They did not have to worry too much about the rules of Emperor Road, but it was different in the outside world. Only the primogenitors had the right to look down on the world. Old Man Tongtian, this person was a primogenitor elite. Of course, there were many primogenitors who were stronger than him. The primogenitors of the Xian people had lived for too long. Their strength was unimaginable. If Dao Shuyi could return, she might be able to stand up to the Xian people's primogenitors. Although the prehistoric Big Brother was equally powerful and could fight against 3 primogenitor elites back then, he could still survive the endless slaughter. However, the Big Brother situation was not optimistic. He had been severely injured. Without a complete reincarnation elixir, it would be difficult for him to heal completely. The voices of anticipation fell into Dao Shuyi's ears. She smiled beautifully. Her bright eyes scanned Su Yin and the others. Her clothes fluttered in the wind. She was indescribably beautiful. In terms of looks, she was not the best. However, her temperament was perfect. Her charm was unparalleled. She was like a real immortal who had fallen from the sky. I have my reasons. Her expression was a little gloomy. She floated away, leaving behind a sentence. This place will be chaotic soon. You should leave as soon as possible and find your own path. Dao Shuyi left as if she had never been here. She disappeared without a trace. Actually, there was nothing to be disappointed about. Su Yin and the others looked at Dao Shuyi's departing figure. They could not calm down. Fairy said that she almost killed the green-furred turtle's main body. Where's his nest? Bao Cai's mind was active. She was thinking about the wealth of the world. Without a doubt, a primogenitor like Elder Tongtian's net worth was unimaginable. It would be an astronomical figure. Even if Elder Tongtian is heavily injured, his nest will not be easy to break through. Inji laughed. Even if such a big shot still has a breath left, who can fight against him other than those of the same level? Su Yin waved his sleeve and grabbed the time and space Dao platform that had fallen into the pile of rocks. This time and space Dao platform was very rare. It contained terrifying power of time and space. If Su Yin did not have the Sun Mother Sutra, it would have been difficult to suppress the essence spirit of the Tongtian young master. This was a protective treasure. Before Su Yin could take a few glances, a huge head had already poked out. It opened its mouth wide and bit down. Greedy Bao Cai, you've been enjoying life for so long, but you still can't change your bad habits. Su Yin laughed and scolded. He used the time and space Dao platform as a brick and smashed it at the Bao Cai's head. The silver Dao platform shone brightly and sprinkled down a vast rain of time and space light. It was as if a condensed universe was pouring down. It contained extremely powerful time and space power. Brat, we just met, and you don't know how to share the good stuff. Bao Cai's face darkened. It avoided the time and space Dao platform and moved closer. It said slyly, "You're too unkind. What's with the Kuan Peng's divine ability? Don't tell me its corpse has been suppressed by you? Quickly take it out and let me take a look. Why don't you ask me how I survived? We just met, and you're already thinking about my treasure. Bao Cai, where's your conscience?" Su Yin laughed and scolded it. Bao Cai was still fat. It had a simple and honest look, and its black and white fur was shiny and smooth. Its pores automatically leaked spiritual essence. Only the heavens knew how many good things it had eaten. Its cultivation level was also at the 5th heaven of the true immortal realm. Fan Jian dug his ears. It was really infuriating to compare oneself to others. They had risked their lives in the Emperor Road, risked their lives, and fought for opportunities. Yet, in the end, Bao Kai had been enjoying his life here. His cultivation level was almost the same as Su Yan's. Brat, you're tough and tough. How could you die? I've never worried about you. Bao Kai grinned. It was still thinking about the Kuin Peng's corpse. It kept circling Su Yan. It was obvious that it was up to no good. Bao Kai, you're being too hypocritical. Back then, Su Yan was trapped in the darkness. I wonder who it was. Iron Rooster is here. Bao Kai jumped up and down anxiously. It pounced at Iron Rooster. Its speed was fast, and its strength was extremely barbaric. It smashed down on Iron Rooster with Mount Tai. Motherf asterisk cur. Iron Rooster cried out in pain. It was shattered by Bao Cai's attack. A large patch of feathers fell off its body. Big brother, what happened here just now? Dali was here as well. He had received a series of shocking inheritances. His burly body surged with godly devil power. Huge palm, fist, and fingerprints shot up into the sky through the top of his head. You're too late. You didn't get to witness a shocking battle, said Fan Jian. Did you kill the Skirich young master? Flame Sparrow was shocked when she saw the Skirich halberd in Su Yan's hands. She had also gained a lot. She had obtained an extremely terrifying flame. She had fused it with her own flames, causing her fire path to soar. Su Yan waved the Skirich halberd. This weapon was extremely powerful. Its sharpness leaked out, and its attack power was shocking. Seeing him nod, Flame Sparrow and the others were pleasantly surprised. This was a future great enemy. He had been defeated in the Golden Waters in advance. Now, the top 100 hadn't started yet. If this news spread, it would cause a huge commotion. I have a suggestion. Let's suppress Bao Kai. This kid has been secretly making a fortune here for so long. He must have collected a huge amount of creation treasures. Iron Rooster was beaten black and blue. He cursed, look at how fat it is now. It's either a tycoon or a nouveau riche. Haha, that's a good suggestion. I agree. Let's make Bao Kai kneel here and sing a song of submission first. Su Yan and the others laughed. Bao Cai's fat face almost collapsed. Fairy Zixia also joined in the fun. She giggled and said, its fur is not bad. It's sparkling and translucent. We can pluck it to make a glove. Motherf asterisk cur. Bao Kai was so scared that he almost fainted. He yelled and shouted, I'm a true immortal. I don't even have a weapon. Why are you robbing me? Hurry up and hand over the Nirvana liquid. Fairy Zixia glared. When she was a powerhouse, Su Yan and Bao Kai were just two small cultivators. Su Yan estimated that Bao Kai had a lot of Nirvana liquid on him. He should even have a lot of young fish fry. Stop, stop, stop. Bao Kai admitted defeat and said, I surrender, but now is not the time to talk about this. Previously, there was a stinky brat who was tricked by me. He must still be struggling in the fire pit now. I think the most important thing is to suppress him first. The Xian people's first supreme being. Su Yan's eyes widened. Bao Kai had really suppressed the Xian people's first supreme being. If we can get rid of him while we're at it. Yuan was surprised and overjoyed at the same time. In that case, he would have two less enemies in the future Monarch Road. This was extremely important to the future Monarch rankings top 100 or even the top 10. Although there were many powerhouses in the undying heavenly domain, and some young kings were hiding their strength, the Xian people's first supreme being was definitely the best. Su Yan's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Was the black substance going to return to him? Let's go, Fan Jian urged. He couldn't wait any longer. Su Yan and the others rushed toward the golden heavenly river. The Xian people's first supreme being was trapped in the golden heavenly river. The place of fortune was a sea of fire. Everyone was disappointed. As for the mysterious heaven's saint's son, he also left the golden heavenly river without stopping. He was on his way to the black heavenly river to meet up with Su Yan. Chapter 1633. Su Yan's group descended the mountain, stirring up a huge commotion. There were still many who stayed behind to watch the battle. They wanted to see how it would turn out. However, some were disappointed. Su Yan was still alive, and so were a bunch of people. If they were all fine, then the Skirich young master must have died. A peak talent dying before the top 100 tournament had even begun. Who knew how big of a commotion it would cause? This team, some people felt a shiver run down their spines. What they were facing was the tyrannical Bao Kai. His bell-sized eyes were like two lanterns as he scanned the passing crowd. He harbored malicious intentions. Many people were terrified. Bao Cai's gaze was a little scary. It was like a prehistoric beast, filled with the majesty of a king. The faint roar of the ancestral dragon could be heard from within its body, shaking the souls of those who heard it. This terrifying team was even more shocking than before. Fairy Zixia carried 5 sword embryos on her back. Her elegance was unparalleled. Some people even suspected that she would lose her position as the world's #1 sword. Fairy Zixia's chaos sword Dao was quite shocking. Just the 5 sword embryos on her back were enough to trap Jin Tiangang for a period of time. Even De Li and the others had received their legacies. They had changed a lot as well. Any one of them would be a top-notch expert in the outside world, a peerless general. They were like a group of dragons and tigers descending the mountain, stirring up a storm along the way. The onlookers could not calm down. This was a terrifying team. They had killed the Skirich young master and even survived Old Man Skirich's incarnation. What had happened before this? I'm really looking forward to it, some people murmured. The celestial court was qualified to rise. Young kings came one after another, and there were even supreme overlords with extraordinary combat strength. They would definitely be able to look down on the Emperor Road in the future. Their blood was boiling. They hoped that the celestial court would rise and break the immortal sect orthodoxy's domination of the Emperor Road. At present, the Golden Waters was just one of the treasure grounds. The third stage of the Emperor Road was huge. There were more than a dozen large treasure grounds that had been opened. Most of the remaining treasure grounds were controlled by the immortal sect orthodoxies. There were many factions and clans that were similar to the underworld. Many of the flourishing immortal sects and orthodoxies already had outstanding talents in the Emperor Road. In the future, they were destined to encounter the strongest battle in the Emperor Road. Every generation had to step on the corpses of kings in order to become truly invincible. When the Emperor Road ended, there would probably be many true immortals of the great all-embracing heaven among them. Even the golden immortal of the great all-embracing heaven was not a small possibility. An era of young experts was about to begin. There are many monsters suppressed here. Bao Kai looked around the Black Sea with fear in his eyes and said, "This place is very strange. I was almost suppressed when I came here. Let's get out of here quickly." Bao Kai, how did you trap the first supreme martial artist of the Xian people? Yin was really curious. Hearing this, Bao Kai smiled slyly. This kid is so arrogant. He doesn't even take me seriously. I was the one who led him into the creation land. This kid has the mother scripture of heaven and earth. He can open the land of heritage. Bao Kai talked about his glorious history. After all, he had suppressed the first supreme martial artist of the Xian people, who was currently the most popular figure in the Emperor Road. Bao Kai of the Yin-Yang Sky River had been here before, so he had a detailed understanding of the terrain. He purposely led the Xian people's first supreme martial artist into the land of treasures and had him open the layout inside. He tried to trap and suppress the first supreme martial artist of the Xian people inside. My understanding of formations is limited. Otherwise, the layout would have been in operation until now. I would have burned him to death. Bao Kai said viciously, "He dares to fight for my treasure." I didn't expect him to be so highly regarded among the Xian people. The first supreme martial artist of the Xian people is too powerful. It won't be easy to get rid of him. Flame Sparrow frowned slightly and said, "He might be backed by the first supreme martial artist of the Xian people. He is one of the most terrifying giants in the immortal heaven bless." At this time, Yingji whispered, "I heard from the old man Tontian that the Xian people's first supreme martial artist is the son of the Xian people's first supreme martial artist." This news sounded a little shocking. The son of the first supreme martial artist was a noble figure. What was a supreme martial artist's son in front of him? Su Yan's expression was serious. If he was really the son of the Xian people's first supreme martial artist, he must have countless defensive measures. Could he really kill him with a layout alone? By the way, Su Yan, how is Big Brother now? Have you seen him? Bao Kai suddenly asked. He was now the anchor of the celestial court. Su Yan shook his head slightly. He did not know the specific situation of Big Brother, but he had a feeling that they would meet soon. If we can find Big Brother and tell him about the reincarnation medicine, we won't have to do nothing, Iron Rooster said worriedly. Even if we can confirm the existence of the reincarnation medicine, it will only benefit the experts of other factions. But it's still better than hell monopolizing it. Although Flame Emperor and the others were strong, they were not the strongest experts. When it came to the power struggle of the first supreme martial artist, only such people had the qualifications to interfere. What? Have you seen the reincarnation medicine? Bao Kai screamed. That's an ultimate treasure. Where did you see it? Su Yin told them about Yin Junhao's matter. Currently, Yin Junhao had not relented. He was too stubborn. Now, Su Yin and the others wanted to obtain concrete evidence. Only then would they be able to incite their enemies to attack Underworld. Even if they couldn't get it, they couldn't let hell cultivate the ultimate treasure. To the first supreme martial artist, it was equivalent to a second life. Don't waste your time on me. I won't let it go. Yin Junhao was trapped in the cauldron and said eerily, Yin Junhao, was born in hell and grew up in hell. You want me to betray my tribe? You're thinking too much. Ha ha. Is this kid very stubborn? Bao Kai poked its head out and looked at Yin Junhao with a cunning smile. What about the livestock? Yin Junhao felt a little cold under Tai Bao Cai's gaze. He always felt that this creature was too evil. However, his mouth was unforgiving as he cursed. If you want to kill me, then do it quickly. Young Devil King, don't make me look down on you. If you want a quick death, this beast god will guarantee that you'll want to die. The treacherous smile on Bao Kai's round and honest face was getting weaker and weaker. Its big claws reached down and pulled Yin Junhao out. What are you doing? Yin Junhao said angrily. If you're a man, then kill me. What kind of hero is torturing me? Don't worry. This beast god will let you fly in happiness. Bao Cai's face was full of smiles as it carefully took out a jade bottle. It poured out a pill and stuffed it into Yin Junhao's mouth. What did you give me? Yin Junhao had a bad feeling. The moment he swallowed the pill, he felt his blood vessels expand and his eyes become confused. You'll know in a while. Bao Kai opened his mouth wide and laughed sinisterly. It was obvious that he was up to no good. If you don't speak for a day, I will give you 1 pill a day. I have over 100 pills with me. That's enough for you to eat. Bao Kai imprisoned Yin Junhao in the cauldron. He looked like he had succeeded. Fan Jian went over and asked curiously, what pill is that? Is it so magical? This Yin Junhao's mouth is very hard. I can't get him to open it. Fan Jian was implying that he could make Yin Junhao speak with just a few pills. Come eat one. I guarantee it will taste good. Bao Kai poured out a pill and gave it to Fan Jian. It even patted his shoulder and said, happiness is better than immortality. This pill is free, but the next one will cost 5,000 kilograms of immortal Dao stones. Bao Kai was being greedy. Fan Jian's heart was pounding. He didn't dare to eat it all. How could it be good for Yin Junhao? Flame Sparrow seemed to have thought of something as her face turned red. Come, Li, try it. It's free. Bao Cai's sinister look made Li's head spin like a rattle. He mumbled that this wasn't good. He wouldn't eat it even if he was beaten to death. Fan Jian kept asking until Bao Kai finally relented. This made Fan Jian want to beat him up. This was meant for ferocious beasts. How could a human be able to stand it after eating it? What do you know? I stole it with great difficulty. Even if a Dao Yuo, true immortal, ate it, he wouldn't be able to take it. Bao Kai snorted. Young man, you still don't understand. This thing is extremely expensive on the black market. You can't buy it, even if you have money. Okay. It's good stuff. You can keep it for yourself. Fan Jian wiped off his cold sweat. He was thinking about how he was going to leave this place in the future. He was really a scoundrel. I think that when we return to Earth in the future, we have to find a proper giant panda in a primitive forest and let Bao Kai eat a pill to show off his skills. Yuan said with a straight face. Bao Kai almost went berserk. Li said something embarrassing about Bao Kai. Before leaving Xianwan Universe, Bao Kai had this thought. He wanted to leave behind a descendant and let his son take his place after his father died in battle. In the end, he couldn't find it, Su Yin laughed. Bao Kai felt particularly embarrassed. He cursed and went on his way. Wherever he went, there would be chaos. Some people even had their treasures taken away, making him feel slightly better. Unlucky, really unlucky. Bao Kai had a bad temper. He felt that his wise and mighty appearance had been seriously trampled on. "Young man, what are you doing in this beast god's territory?" Immediately after, Bao Kai saw a young expert barge into the Black Sea. He roared to vent his bad temper. Evil creature. The mysterious heaven's saint was furious. His long hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes emitted a cold aura. His aura was exceptionally powerful. What was his status? He was reprimanded as soon as he entered the land of fortune. His face turned ashen. He also released a powerful aura that shook the surroundings. Bao Kai was enraged. Its forehooves stomped on the void, causing it to tremble. A prehistoric, ferocious aura surged. The mysterious heaven's saint was shocked. He felt that a prehistoric giant had escaped and was pouncing toward him. However, the mysterious heaven's saint was not afraid. He came here to deal with the young Devil King. What was a mere beast? With the Imperial Sky Dao diagram in hand, he could easily suppress Tai Bao Kai. He might even be able to obtain a mount. Mysterious heaven's saint in the distant world. Some of the cultivators who were watching Su Yin and the others leave were dumbfounded. They were truly dumbfounded. What was going on? Was the mysterious heaven's saint here to deliver his head? The mysterious heaven's saint's eyes emitted a cold light. He looked around with a dignified gaze. In the end, he couldn't say a word. His face turned green. He saw a group of people. Su Yin, Fairy Zixia, Flame Sparrow, Yuan, De Li, and Iron Rooster. They were all looking at him with evil intentions. "Saint, what's wrong?" Immediately after, a group of people rushed in. They were stunned when they saw the saint's legs were weak. "It's nothing. Let's go. We still have things to do. Brother Devil King, I won't disturb you any longer. Farewell." The mysterious heaven saint almost couldn't breathe. He was scared stiff. His hair stood on end as he ordered his subordinates to retreat. Chapter 1634. Leave? Many disciples of the Odd Sky sect had strange expressions on their faces. Didn't they say they were here to suppress the young Devil King? Why did they have to leave? However, when they saw the scene in front of them, they were all stunned. Their legs went soft, and they almost fell to the ground. Their hearts were filled with fear. What the F***CK is going on? Isn't this too unlucky? They had just arrived at the Black Ocean, and they saw this scene. Even if they were reincarnated bodies of the underworld, they would feel dizzy standing here. What kind of lineup was this? What kind of combination was this? Who could match up to them? The sky was filled with the aura of terrifying experts. It was even more turbulent than the ocean, and it could easily suppress kings. The atmosphere here was extremely oppressive, and the spectators in the distance were all dumbfounded. They were really unlucky to have come here to die. Everyone knew that the Odd Sky sect was one of the sources of the destruction of the Celestial Court in the 9-tripod continent. Leave? Bao Kai laughed. It still didn't know what was going on, and it was ready to show off its skills. However, before it could do anything, Su Yin and the others had already rushed over. Leave quickly. The Odd Sky Saint was really about to cry. He directly used the Imperial Sky Dao diagram to suppress Su Yin and the others. This is Bao Cai's body shook. The Imperial Sky Dao diagram was one of the 3 greatest treasures of the Odd Sky sect. It was also forged by the ancestor of the Odd Sky sect. Although the Odd Sky Saint couldn't unleash the full power of the Imperial Sky Dao diagram with his strength, the Imperial Sky Dao diagram was still alive. However, in its resurrected state, the Dao diagram was truly vast. It filled the entire sky and descended from the heavens, covering everything. Boom! Su Yan's eyes widened, and he instantly took out the Milky Way gourd and slammed it against the Imperial Sky Dao diagram. The Milky Way gourd spewed out the light of the galaxy, and it contained the stars in the sky. Of course, the Milky Way gourd's value couldn't be compared to the Imperial Sky Dao diagram. The moment the two collided, The Milky Way gourd trembled violently and was almost suppressed by the imperial sky diagram. Good treasure. Su Yin was shocked. The Milky Way gourd was about to explode from the pressure. One could imagine how powerful the imperial sky diagram was. Astral projection. Fairy Zixia let out a soft cry. The five-sword embryos on her back soared into the sky and evolved into a chaos sword array, temporarily isolating themselves from the suppression of the imperial sky Taoist diagram. Let me! Bao Kai roared and charged at the fleeing Saint Son of the marvelous heaven. Yi Yuan and the others had made a move. What a shocking scene this was. Even if Su Yin and Fairy Zixia did not make a move, their team alone was enough to dominate Emperor Road. The entire space-time exploded. Almost trillions of layers of energy surged over. This was an extremely terrifying scene. It blotted out the sky and blotted out the sun. It was as if a great dam had burst open in the vast ocean. The whistling energy fluctuations rushed forward. Batch after batch of mysterious heaven sect disciples screamed miserably. They didn't even have the qualifications to struggle. Under the impact of this energy, their bodies exploded. Pooh! Wondrous Heaven's Saint Child tried to use his power to stop it, but his protective divine light directly shattered. His body trembled intensely, and he coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. Wondrous Heaven's Saint Child's hair was disheveled, and his eyes were bloodshot. It could be said that his eyes were about to pop out of their sockets, and his heart was raging with flames of fury. The subordinates he brought were all destroyed in one move. None of them could survive. Who could withstand this kind of lineup? This was simply going too far. Roar! In the end, Bao Cai's speed was the most terrifying. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of ancestral dragon's body. This was an unparalleled killing force. It was the most powerful divine ability in history, the ancestral dragon's power. It was as terrifying as a prehistoric beast overlooking the kings of the world. You've gone too far, he screamed miserably. He was about to be destroyed in one move. Although he was a Saint Child expert of the Mysterious Heaven sect, he was most proficient in the power of the Mysterious Heaven sect. However, in the ancestral dragon's flight pattern, the world was suppressed and dimmed. Wondrous Heaven, Saint Child spat out a large mouthful of blood. His flesh shell trembled and began to crack. The ancestral dragon's power was about to break his flesh shell into two. Immediately afterwards, the murderous power of Yi Yuan's group arrived. This area of space-time began to boil, surging with rich blood radiance. Mysterious Heaven's holy child was in a miserable state. The glorious holy child of a great sect was completely crushed again. The Wondrous Heaven sect Saint Child is going to nurse a grievance. Everyone in the world was dumbstruck. This was too unlucky to be suppressed by a group of enemies. From this, it could be seen how powerful Su Xianren was. When he was facing a group of enemies, he had the courage to suppress everything. None of the experts could match him. So much nonsense. Be careful that I don't break your dog head. Bao Kai stretched out a large claw and suppressed Wondrous Heaven, Saint Child. He bared his teeth and said, "Who is this brat? He dares to behave atrociously in our territory? Kneel down and call him Big Brother." Wondrous Heaven, Saint Child was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. He had not completely lost all hope and was trying his best to activate the Imperial Heaven Tao diagram. "Revive for me," he roared in a low voice. His blood-stained hair fluttered. This was his only life-saving straw. He believed that the Imperial Heaven Tao diagram could help him avoid the danger. A loud explosion occurred. No one saw what happened. Only a few experts saw a blurry giant cauldron. It fell from the sky and directly swallowed the Imperial Heaven Tao diagram. "Bastard!" Wondrous Heaven Saint Child roared in anger. What kind of supreme treasure was that? Could it be the 9 continents heaven cauldron of the ancient celestial court? Otherwise, how could it suppress the Imperial Heaven Tao diagram? He had already lost his connection with the Imperial Heaven Tao diagram. "Saint Child of Wondrous Heaven sect, this is the first time we have met. How do you want to die?" Su Yan's divine eyes were like lightning. He walked step by step towards Wondrous Heaven's Saint Child and said coldly, "I can give you a quick death. Consider it as my thanks for delivering the treasure." "Young Devil King, you're going too far," Wondrous Heaven's Saint Child roared. His eyes were wide open. He was so angry that his soul was trembling. At the same time, his heart was filled with despair. He roared in a low voice, "I am the Saint Child of Wondrous Heaven's sect. If you kill me, you will become an enemy of Wondrous Heaven's sect." "How can you even say such a stupid thing?" Su Yin said coldly. "No matter how strong your Wondrous Heaven sect is, are you as strong as the Xian people? I really can't find an excuse to spare your life. I think we should just kill you." Bao Kai didn't say anything. Its big claws pressed down and crushed Wondrous Heaven Saint Child's body. The pitiful Wondrous Heaven Saint Child died in despair and fear. He wanted to say something before he died, but in the end, he didn't say anything. He died just like that. Its eyes were like lanterns, and its claws held a time ring. It grinned foolishly. The Saint Child of a great sect must have a strong foundation. Just like that, he died. He is the Wondrous Heaven sect's Saint Child. Isn't this too tragic? It really makes people despair. The Emperor Road's 100 strongest competition hasn't started yet. The Xian people supremes have died. The Grandmaster Heaven Young Master has fallen, and the Wondrous Heaven Saint Child has been crushed to death. Who will be next? In the distant world, the experts were silent. It was too cruel and bloody. What kind of status did the Wondrous Heaven sect have? Their Saint Child was killed just like that without any hesitation. Many people were panicking. Chills ran down their spines. This group was too savage. Many people were speechless. They felt an intense fear towards this group and were extremely flustered. They left and didn't stop. An invincible group. Someone finally spoke. This was a group that could sweep through the Emperor Road. They're going to the Golden Heavenly River. Some people followed. Seeing Su Yin and the others rushing toward the Golden Heavenly River at extreme speed, some people felt heavy. Could it be that the young Demon King wanted to sweep away all the fortunes and completely dominate the Golden Sea region? The people guessed that they had obtained a lot of Nirvana precious liquid. They didn't know what was in the Golden Heavenly River. Our race's #1 supreme being's life is in danger. Inform the family immediately. Quick! The place of fortune in the Golden Heavenly River was not calm at all. The Xian people's #1 supreme being was trapped in a dangerous place. The Xian people's experts tried to send in a batch of secret healing medicine, but unfortunately, they all failed. Any weapons thrown into the sea of flames were all dissolved. They couldn't be delivered to the Xian people's #1 supreme being. They had lost a lot of good things for nothing. The onlookers were terrified. If the Xian people's #1 supreme being fell just like that, wouldn't it be too sad? Our race's #1 supreme being has great fortune. He definitely won't die so easily. A peak true immortal roared. Who is the supreme being in the Emperor Road? Our race's #1 supreme being is the invincible god of war. In the future, the battlefield of the Emperor Road will prove that he is the #1 supreme being. That's right. We shouldn't despair. The #1 supreme being refined his body with true fire. Who knows? He might become even stronger. Which supreme overlord of the world in the past didn't walk out after suffering all kinds of hardships? This little problem is nothing. The Xian people have been strong since ancient times. Their fortune is invincible. When the #1 supreme being comes out of seclusion, he'll definitely be able to suppress the young Devil King. The Xian people seem to have lost their minds and roared uncontrollably. The #1 supreme being hadn't even unleashed his strongest combat power since his debut. How could he die just like that? They had already sent people to inform the family. They believed that the Xian people would bring treasures to break through the sea of flames. I'd like to see how invincible the fortune of the Xian people is. Suddenly, a loud roar came from the outside world. It sounded like the angry roar of an invincible god of war. The Xian people's blood was boiling, and their bodies were trembling. Who's there? The experts of the various races were shocked. Their voices swept over from the distant sea. But at the same time, Wind and thunder rumbled, shaking the magnificent golden sea. Huge waves surged and crashed into the sky. The momentum was like the sea. Heavens! The whole world was shocked. A peerless halberd came out of its sheath and cut open the golden sea as if it was splitting it. That's the weapon of the Skirich young master. Could it be that the young Devil King is here? The successors of the various great sects were shocked. Didn't they say that the incarnation of the Skirich young master had appeared? Could it be that Su Yin and the others were unharmed and had escaped unscathed? Su Yin had arrived. His black hair danced in the wind, and he was extremely powerful. He punched out as if the sky was falling and the earth was splitting. The Xian people cried out miserably. This punch caused the space-time to collapse, and a large number of experts were sent flying. This Devil King, the Xian people were terrified. The peak true immortals were coughing up blood. They were horrified. Was Su Yin invincible in the true immortal realm? His entire body surged with shocking heavenly might. He was also releasing the will of an invincible age, sweeping through the world. I'm here to kill you. Su Yin charged over with the halberd in his hand. Along the way, the enemies died. The halberd's peerless sharpness was enhanced by this powerful killing weapon. Su Yin's combat strength soared wildly. He ran amok and charged into the sea of flames. He wanted to kill the number one paragon of the Xian people.